Okay. I know nobody's in here yet, but I think Lionel will be back. I'm actually gonna do a 5-minute countdown. So, and then I'll be back in 5 minutes, and I'll just get started. Um, no matter what. So I'm trying to. I'm just gonna go back out. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay. I'm not sure how to do a countdown, so I'm just going to set a timer, but I'm just gonna play some music for like 5 minutes. Okay, about that. Lionel, let's see, is that you that's here? Okay, can you hear me? So I gotta figure out how to turn this music off real quick. Okay, there we go. Okay, let me just make my lighting real quick. Sorry, I didn't know I had to go get my son. I was like stressful and like running around, so I'm like out of breath. Upstairs, I had to like move stuff. But, okay, 1 second, I'll turn this on. All right, I know. Okay, let me just arrange this a little bit here. I have to move everything every day. So okay, that worked. Lionel, are you still here? That's you, right? Okay, cool. Um, so I intended on organizing everything a little bit better. Is the volume okay? Um, Let me just go to settings, make sure it's up. Turn all of it. Okay. Okay. Hello. All right, good. So, oh, thanks. I'm like seriously out of shape. I was like running up the stairs with like a full set of stairs, carrying a chair. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't break that. Probably this thing. I don't care. So, okay. Well, I wanted to see if I had any more shorts because I have this whole list. So instead of having my arm up like that, I'm actually going to look on my phone. Oh yeah, let me just look really quick on my playlist. So anyway, how are you doing today, Lionel? Are you at work? Sorry, I'll look at your comment, but as I go, I just have to look at this. I think it'll be faster. Just put it in my history, and then that way I don't have to sit and like scroll through off camera. Let's see. I'm just gonna start something real quick, and then I'll pull up the other tabs while it's playing, so that way. I had one that is in line with the subject. So this is a 7-minute Joe Rogan clip. Okay, so I just played it so I can get on there. So I'm going to go ahead and present that really quick, just to kind of get started back into that mode. Okay. Just need to open up my tab. Sorry, I'm getting the hang of it. It's taking me a little bit longer, but that's kind of how I am with software. Like once I get it, then I have it. But I feel like when I took AutoCAD, it like didn't click at first, but then like at the firm I was at, I was like ended up being, the most like I don't know what you'd call it. Let's see. Everything looks different on my laptop. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let me make it bigger. Your hair's late. Well, you gotta make that money. So okay. I'll just play this one. I'll be right back.
The thing that really intrigued me was the discovery that at the foundation of life, and even the very simplest cells, we have this amazingly complex code. The DNA, we all learn about it in high school. We think that we all learn about the double helix structure of the DNA molecule, but that's not the most important thing about it. It's that within that double helix, there is literally a code, digital information that is directing the construction of the important proteins and protein machines that every cell needs to stay alive. Bill Gates has said it's like a software program, but much more complex than any we've ever created. And I was doing at the time, for the work as a geophysicist for an oil company, I was doing seismic digital signal processing, which was an early form of information technology. And I got fascinated with the idea that that there was this, first of all, an impasse in evolutionary explanations of the origin of life. Nobody knew how we got from the chemistry in the prebiotic soup to the code in an actual living cell. But I was fascinated that the impasse was created by the mystery surrounding the origin of information. Where did that come from? And so a year later, I was off to grad school in England. I ended up doing a PhD in origin of life biology within a history and philosophy of science department in Cambridge. And so that's kind of a sketch of my journey and how I got interested in this. I saw in one of your previous interviews, you said that you were very interested in origin stories. And
Yeah.
me too. That was the...
Well, it's always interesting when you see someone who's kind of dedicated their life to a very specific thing. Like what's the root of this? Where did it come from? So for you, you went through this funk, and did you find comfort in religion? Is that what?
Okay, so this man, I just realized, is actually one of the scientists or experts that is on the same documentary that we're watching. This is Stephen Meyer. So I believe he's the biologist. And I'll confirm that, but I think it actually says in this description, right? Let's see. Okay, I don't know. It just says he explains the code in Artini. So if it starts to repeat, then we can change it. But I like hearing Joe Rogan's take on things. So I kind of want to play it. It's only got 5 minutes left.
It helped you? Did you find structure in it?
I found answers to basic worldview questions that I thought were, as a 14-year-old, I thought nobody, there must be something wrong with me. Nobody else is having these questions. I'm not talking to anyone at school who's worried about.
I think you're just smart.
I remember one day I'm in just total. Well, okay. For example, I was in this big leg cast, and I would crutch my way up to the up our driveway, get the newspaper, bring back the box scores to read, about the baseball games the night before. And every day it's a new date. And I do this and a new date and a new date. And I started thinking time is a really freaky thing. I can imagine an event. I'm going to lift this cup, I'm going to drop it, put it over there. Now that event just took place, but it's already gone. We're not experiencing it anymore. We have a memory of it. But what does that actually mean? There was this flow of sensory experience, but there didn't seem to be anything rooting it that gave it an enduring reality. And I had this sense there must be something that doesn't change, or else everything else that does change is passing, ephemeral, and ultimately of no account. And so, you read, I ended up reading the big fat family Bible that I'd never cracked, and found that when God revealed his name to Moses, it was the I am that I am, this timeless, eternal person. And you found the same thing in the New Testament, the way Jesus Christ was referred to. And so I thought, I wonder if there is something that doesn't change. And so the kind of philosophical questions that I was having made me want to explore whether or not revealed religion might in fact be true.
Can I ask you to expand on that? What do you mean by something that does not change?
Some eternal self-existent reality, I guess. It was not something as a 14-year-old I had worked out. It was a kind of an intuition that it was the experience of having the constant flux of changing sense perceptions left me with a sense that there was nothing solid to hold on to in reality. And so this is not a great, this is not the argument for the existence of God that I would repose, in which I would repose great trust. I'm not trying to persuade anyone by this. I'm just telling what my experience was at this point. I later found what I think are very, very persuasive arguments, both philosophically and scientifically. The thing that really convinced me as a university student studying philosophy was an argument known as the argument from epistemological necessity. The fundamental question in modern philosophy that has really just been a stumper and has led to this whole postmodern turn where people don't think there's no objective basis for any reality is the question of the reliability of the human mind. On what basis can we trust the way our minds process all that sensory information. This goes back to Hume and Kant and some of the philosophers in the Enlightenment period. And from that point forward, there was a great doubt. Maybe we can't trust our minds. Maybe we can't trust. We have all these things we assume about reality in order to make sense about reality. That every cause has an effect, for example. But we can't prove those things. We have to use those assumptions in order to know anything at all. And I encountered this argument that suggested, well, if we try to justify our ability to know the world around us by empirical data, by things we observe, this was Hume's argument. You can't do it. He was a radical empiricist and found that in order to make any sense of the sense impressions he had to presuppose the uniformity of nature. But to prove the uniformity of nature, he had to make reference to sensory observations. And so he was arguing in a circle. And so it came down, you couldn't justify the reliability of assumptions we make in our minds by observing the world. You had to use those assumptions to make sense of the observations. But if you presupposed that our minds were made by a benevolent creator who gave us those assumptions in order to make sense of the world that he also made, then there was a principle of correspondence between the way the mind worked and the way the world
Patty,
worked, in which case we could trust the basic
this is
reliability of
almost
the
over.
mind. And this turns out to be one of the key foundational assumptions that gave rise to modern science. It was called the idea of intelligibility. Newton, Boyle, Kepler, the great founders of modern science, thought that nature had secrets to reveal. There were patterns there to be revealed that we could understand because our minds had been made in the image of the same rational creator who had built rationality and design and pattern and lawful order into the world.
Okay. That's that. Hey, Patty, thank you for coming over here. That's so awesome. I appreciate that. And Denison, you're back. You're nerdy like me, so I'm trying to get this just like kind of. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I don't want to go on too much of like a monologue. I feel like I kind of covered a lot on the first show regarding like everything that they talked about in the documentary so far. So it's like beating a dead horse. But basically, so obviously he brought up the theological aspect of that. The documentary doesn't really do that. So, you know, I mean, that's just his personal opinion. But I also agree that there's likely, you know, a creator. I personally believe that is God, but I don't like force my opinions on other people. But the point is that now science and religious historical, you know, aspects like biblical or the Quran, everything kind of is like showing that science and religion can mesh. They don't have to be complete polar opposites. That it's quite possible that the creator, and some people may believe that that is aliens. Some people may believe, I mean, who knows? People can believe whatever they feel like makes the most sense, or they can believe nothing. I mean, obviously. But for those that do believe in a creator, they would also believe, you know, it's now feasible to believe that the creator is the inventor of all these scientific aspects like biology, mathematics, genetics, all these things. Um, so I don't know, Lionel, do you think you're going to be able to join tonight? I know you're at work now. I don't even know if he can answer. So I think what I'll do is just continue with the documentary where we left off for like about 10 minutes and just kind of watch the comments and see. Denison, of course, I'd love for you to join too. Or Fatty, I know Fatty kind of stops by, he's busy, but if he's still around, and if you want to join, Fatty, if you're still here, can hear this, I would love for you to join because you have strong opinions and you have good questions. We kind of have similar views from what I've gathered from hearing you speak about religion and God and all that. Kind of remind me of Lionel, sort of ask hard questions, which I think is good. But not sold. per se. So anyway, okay, Lionel, that's fine. All right, let me go ahead and just do that then. So we kind of have a little bit more material to discuss, because that last clip was more kind of an opinion. So when I'm trying to stick to more factual research type um, aspects of the evolution. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. It should be my history, so hopefully it'll be quick this time. But let me just at least, I'm going to close the screen. Okay, now. So I'm trying to talk because I noticed when I kind of skip through to just kind of like, critique myself on the other video, it was definitely some moments of silence. It's kind of awkward. So I'm like, wow, it didn't seem like a long time when I was searching for videos, but watching it seemed like an eternity. So, okay. Now, okay, I got it. You make sure it's on the right. Okay, go back. I'm going to maybe repeat like 1 minute of what we saw so we can catch a little bit. That should be good. Okay.
400 amino acids, and so 12,000-ish or so. But in order to develop resistance to the anti-malarial drug chloroquine, it took trillions and trillions of malarial cells, Plasmodium falciparum, to get.
I'll probably, while this is playing, I'm listening. I've seen it, a few times. I'm gonna try to find a couple of videos like liven it up a little too, just some like little funny clips because it can get a little monotonous. I mean, it's great information, but it can kind of feel like school too, which I don't. But I'm not. That's not my goal. So.
Get 2 crummy mutations. 2, and we're talking about 12,000 for the flagellum. Now, trillions, and for each extra mutation, it goes up exponentially. That, Steve was talking in exponential language, but that's another factor of a trillion for another one, and another factor of a trillion for the next one too. So this is truly, even much simpler things than we've been talking about are beyond Darwinian processes. I just want to add one little cute thing is that these days scientists can do evolution in the laboratory, grow bacterial cultures and for a long time and see what happens. And a man named Richard Lenski, a biologist at Michigan, did this for a bacterium called E. coli. And one of the first mutations that he saw that really helped the bacteria grow faster was when it deleted the genes, got rid of the genes for the bacterial
instead of adding information,
flagellum.
it's dropping it.
Exactly. And that's something we haven't touched on yet, but it's oftentimes a whole lot faster and easier to get rid of stuff and to improve a species' chance to survive and prosper than to
But you
build
can't
stuff.
get a new species by dropping out information, by becoming stupider.
That's
But
correct.
adding new capabilities requires new proteins, which requires solving this combinatorial problem, this search for those exceedingly rare sequences among the vast number of gibberish sequences that don't do anything
Okay,
useful.
little parenthesis.
So again, you're back to the needle in the haystack problem.
This is the layman struggling to understand this again. Copernicus says the Earth revolves around the sun. Had he had access to telescopes that would be developed not that many decades later, let alone to the instruments we have for searching the heavens today, he would have understood immediately that that suggestion was ridiculous, right? And so what we're talking about here is...
You think you mean vice versa?
Excuse me, I've got it the other way around. Copernicus is the one who the old Ptolemaic system.
Right.
Okay, so the Ptolemaic system, which persists until what? I don't want to get Galileo mixed in all this, but we get this into the 16th century.
Yeah.
Telescope, which Copernicus figures out that that's partly because of the technology. He can see what they couldn't see before. All right, so Darwin's a little 170 some years ago, and it was plausible that the little tiny cell was a blob of jello in the old days. But now, thanks to Behe here, we can look into that cell, and we have the same experience going into smaller and smaller dimensions that telescopes had going into the larger and larger dimension, which is every time we look, it becomes more complicated, deeper, richer, more mind-boggling. Is that roughly correct?
That's roughly right, and it starts back in the
Importantly correct.
yeah, it starts back in the 1950s. With Watson and Crick, and what historians of science now call the molecular biological revolution. They, of course, elucidated the double helix structure of the molecule.
They discovered the language.
Exactly. They discovered the structure of the molecule in 1953, but it's Crick who makes the important breakthrough in 1958. He was a code breaker in World War II, and he formulates something called the sequence hypothesis. And he proposes that the 4 chemical subunits that run along the interior of the DNA molecule they're called nucleotide bases, or just bases. He proposes that they are functioning like alphabetic characters in a written text, or like, for example, the zeros and ones in a section of software today. That is to say, they perform a function as a group, not in virtue of any of their physical properties, but in virtue of their sequential arrangement in accord with an independent symbol convention, later discovered and now known as the genetic code. And over the ensuing 7 or 8 years, Crick's sequence hypothesis was confirmed by a series of experiments on both sides of the Atlantic, and that gave us this new informational understanding. The information revolution came to biology, because what we realized is that inside the cell we have a complex information storage, transmission, and processing system. And to explain the origin of life, you've got to explain that. And to explain any new form of life, you've got to explain how you can take a section of code, randomly change it, and hope to come up with another section of code without destroying the function of the code you started with.
So the three of you, I want to get to the way science, capital S, is responding to people such as the three of you. But the three of you are not some sort of throwbacks saying you're attacking all that civilization stood for. What you're saying is, wait, we know more than they did. Look at the newest information. You are champions for the latest science, not for some sort of retrograde worldview. That's fair?
I think it is fair. I think it's worth saying you accused me of swiping Darwin aside. I don't swipe him aside. He observed some very interesting and useful things.
He was a good writer too.
But he was. But he was limited by his time. And we also have in addition something that we haven't discussed at all. And that is that ideas that were perhaps crystallized by Darwin had existed a long time before, where there was nothing of what is called science. Lucretius had them. In fact, if you read De Rerum Natura, Lucretius' book on the nature of life, he gets almost everything Darwin does, except for the transmutation of species, and he deduces it from materialistic philosophy. Because one of the
Lucretius
things that
give me a
yes,
century.
I can.
What century is Lucretius?
Oh, he's in the back of the 1st century,
All right.
but he was building on stuff even earlier,
Greeks
going
before,
back to the early Greeks of Democritus. And the point of that is important. There's a worldview dimension to all of this. You see, if I put on my atheist hat, which I do with some difficulty, but I try to do it, and you say to me, write me an account of the origin of life, I will come up with an evolutionary theory immediately, because that is the only possibility allowed by the naturalistic worldview. So we're competing with that as well. And of course, Darwinism as such appealed massively to the atheists, and increasingly so, as we know through Richard Dawkins. So you have to remember that once you start raising the kind of question these two gentlemen have been raising, and that is that there's information, there's code, and the looming specter of the possibility of a coder, that raises a crucial problem.
Out of bounds.
Right.
That's out of bounds.
That's not science.
Yes,
Yes,
and
Mark.
that means that we have to broaden the discussion as to how science is defined.
And of course,
So,
go ahead.
well, I just want to get to, because I promised John that we would come to this, and that is the origin of life itself. As I understand it, from your work, Stephen, life emerges pretty quickly after the conditions for the emergence of life themselves emerge. It's there from the get-go, geologically speaking.
3.85 billion years is the accepted time.
Okay.
The cessation of a meteorite bombardment of the Earth occurred at most 50 million years before that. A blink of the eye geologically, we get from simple chemicals to a complex, functionally integrated cell with information processing systems and miniature machines.
Okay, so here's what I was taught when I was going through school. There was the famous Urey experiment, 1952, I looked it up, where if you put in a chamber all the chemicals that were supposed to have been present when Earth was at the moment when life arose, and introduced, I seem to remember from textbooks, the idea that there was some terrible thunderstorm. So you mix it all up with electricity. And a couple of scientists, Urey at the University of Chicago, tried this, and lo and behold, somehow or other, they managed to form a few amino acids. They didn't form life, but that's because you have to run the experiment a lot of times. And as I understand it, now, again, to the extent that we understand, the more we try to run better experiments than Urey was able to in 1952, the farther we are from actually creating anything that could be recognized as life. Is that roughly correct?
Yes.
So once again, we have this understanding which is receding from us rather than finding ourselves approaching it. What does that mean?
Well, it means that we're understanding more the complexity that was not realized at the time. They thought, I think, that it was just enough to get a few amino acids and hey presto, it would happen. They knew nothing of the linguistic structure. And so what has happened subsequently is it has receded, as you say, because we've discovered more and more about the sheer sophistication about what life is. And by the way, nobody really knows what life is.
Huge irony is that 1953, you have the Miller-Urey experiment, big splash in the media, but you also have the Watson and Crick discovery. And the two things have run counter to each other ever since. Miller and Urey produced 2 or maybe 3 protein-forming amino acids out of the ensemble of 20 that you would need to build a whole protein. But more importantly, they didn't show how you could sequence the amino acids properly to get them to fold into proteins. To do that, you need instructions. And those instructions were found on the DNA molecule. And it's the origin of the code that has presented the most acute problem for origin of life research, because chemistry simply doesn't move in the direction of informational complexity. It moves in other directions.
One other origin.
You can't get from chemistry to code. That's the problem.
If I could just hop in just for a sec.
Yes.
I just add that the process you described, that people were hopeful in the early 50s, and the more they worked, the more difficult they saw the problem to be. That means you're barking up the wrong tree. That's the signature of a wrong idea, because if you have the right idea, you expect future results to support it.
Again, like Einstein.
Exactly. But on the other hand, Darwin thought the cell was a little glob of jello. But the more and more we find, the more and more sophisticated genetic code, splicing of DNA, molecular machinery, and so on. That's, for an intelligent design proponent, that looks like you're barking up the right tree.
All right.
There's another irony about
Okay, so that's enough, kids. It's pretty technical. Okay, awesome. I want to address your comments. They look good. I was almost about to talk over the video, but I stopped myself. So, basically, we've got 2 conflicting concurrent ideas going, either evolution or what we know all the way to this modern day of chemistry and genetics. So we either have to just, eliminate everything all the progress we've made so far, or we have to address the fact that evolution is most likely what was, a sensible theory at the time, but maybe completely impossible and incorrect. So I'm going to read some of these comments. Let's see. Hopefully. Okay, now this is very esoteric. I'm actually not quite sure what that means, but I could Google it, or if somebody wants to tell me. If anybody, do you guys want to call, or you guys, I don't know, I don't know if you call independence. I don't know that I've ever seen you on one. Okay, I'm just going to read these though. I wish I could see it. Okay, let me make it bigger. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, so the Romans adopted a monotheistic God, which would be one God, I'm guessing, right? And to better control their ever-expanding empire, the pantheon of gods led to too much divergence. Okay, so like the Greek, how they had all of those different gods in Greek mythology, right? And then Zeus being the top dog, basically, right? I think that's. I loved Greek mythology. That was one of my favorite subjects. Okay. Oh, I don't know what just happened. Okay, good. I didn't shut it down. Okay, I hit a button. Okay, let me just keep going here on comments. That scared me. Okay. Okay. The Romans were enamored with the Israelites and how steadfast and unified they were when fighting them. Monotheism creates tighter bonds of connection under a common unified creator. That totally makes sense. And it's easier probably to get people on board because they don't have so much to learn. Greek mythology is actually pretty complicated as far as whose role is what and who, married, or I don't know if they called it married in that, but with, like partner with each other. And then, yeah, there's a lot of stories. That would make sense. Because even if you are, well, I guess the Bible, a lot of people believe in the Bible in different ways, but if you believe in like the Christianity version of the Bible, you really only need to believe in God and Jesus. You don't necessarily have to know all the details to be a devout follower. Um, Whereas some religions, you probably do. Okay, let's see. It was an early form of social control, definitely. In some countries, I still, I think it still is, especially like with Sharia law, especially the theists. Okay, let's see. It's coming here somewhere. It's got me somewhere. Okay. Lionel. Okay, hold on. Okay. Let's see. Especially the theist. Okay. The code adapted to environmental factors and the conditions we lived in. Definitely. Well, yeah, especially when everybody in the country has the same beliefs. There's really not a lot to fight about or to be afraid of. Whereas, the biggest thing with other religions mixing together, obviously they're going to think they're wrong, and depending on how devout they are, may think they're going to hell or they're evil. But also, I think one of the main factors is fear. Fear each other. In some ways, rightfully so. Okay, Leno, Greek mythology. I gotta make it. I wish I could see it without doing this. Greek mythology wasn't complicated. It's just a lot of stories. LOL, but those gods were trash. Don't lie, you loved Aphrodite. Come on. I don't believe you. What was your favorite, if you had to choose? Favorite and least favorite? I think my favorite was it was the messenger, the one. Oh my gosh, I forget. I think they named like the first Western Union after Greek god, or Poseidon. And of course, a lot of religions believe that the devil owns the oceans, so like the evil is in the water. I saw this clip that they found this humongous like hole in Greenland under the ice. It's crazy. It's like huge. I don't know. I didn't have time to watch it. I just saw it. But it looked like they said a portal, but that could have just been that continent creators, kind of conspiracy theory. But okay, I do have one funny one I'm gonna play really quick to break it up a little with the science. And then I know your work, so just whenever you want to call, like when you get inspired, you can. I mean, I'm just kind of going with the flow of this, but let me pull up this other video that's in my. I think I've mentioned before the way that I kind of came into the spaces slowly but surely. I would say the biggest catalyst for me, and I'll definitely give credit to, is CT because I met the most people there. But I was, found him through Anton Daniels, and I think I found Anton Daniel the algorithm probably brought me to him from like the Hodge twins, and there's another creator I used to watch all the time. Now, oh my gosh, what is it? It's one I'm trying to think. It starts with a J, but it's a unique name, but he's funny. But anyways, before that, I signed up for YouTube about it was like 2021, I think. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's going maybe 2022. But anyway, I only could follow my favorite comedians on Facebook, and I got tired of Facebook, especially if I try to share my the clips with other people, like it would redirect them to Facebook. I'm like, this is lame. So I only signed up for YouTube just for Long Beach Griffey and comedian Sheila King. And then of course, the algorithm continually like sent me to similar content, which happened to be like comedians and primarily black comedians and also like right wing, kind of like more like conservative. So they kind of narrow it down. So yeah, and so it kept sending me, and like I'm glad it did because I met a lot of really cool people. But let me just pull up my playlist really quick. It should be easy to find. I'm just not doing a good job talking and looking, but here we go. So but he has the most hilarious. They're like short too, so he puts out quite a few of them, and I'm trying to follow up on like every day. Sometimes I don't, and I'll just go through a marathon. My kids like laugh. They're like, "Oh my gosh." They're used to it. Okay, let me just pull. All right. No, it's okay. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. This one's funny. Okay. Let me pull up one. I'm horrible at this. I don't know how Ricky does it so quickly. This isn't Shooter King, but this was funny. This is the same.
Got yourself a gun. Mama always said you'd be there.
I love it. These things are weird.
One in a million, you got to boom shine. Don't remember a bad sound. Blue moon in your eye. Woke up this morning. All that love had gone. Your papa never told you about right and wrong. But you're looking good, baby. I believe that you're feeling fine. Shade my light. Don't remember a bad sound. Blue moon in your eyes. So sing it now. Woke up this morning. You got a blue moon. Got a blue moon in your eyes.
Okay. All right, hold on. No. That's so funny. I'm not playing that. Another just hilarious. Like the rating looks so serious. Okay, watch. Okay, this is the comedian. Let's see if I'm. Oh, I didn't share. This is like my favorite comedian ever. Okay.
I don't know what kind of fish these are, but you can go and throw them back. You can throw them back. They don't. I know you cooked them already. I don't even know how the hell you got to cook them. But these are some convicted felon fish that you got. You can put these back. This is why we chop the head off the fish before we put them in the pan. No, I don't want to eat. No, we good. Put them back. Why is the fish? If they trying to bite the lid of the pot or whatever you had them in, or they screaming for their life. But I don't want to eat no fish. I don't really eat nothing that still got a full set of teeth. I don't know. Hell no. I'm good on this. We straight. This look like fried can openers that you got on the plate. I don't want it. Nah, I don't want it. I'm not about to sit up here and eat 100 baby teeth out of a fish's mouth. No, we're not doing that. We absolutely are not doing that. You can use the teeth off these fish to scale another fish. You're not even supposed to eat piranhas, because I think that's what this is. I'm not eating no flesh-eating fish. I'm supposed to eat the fish. I'm not supposed to eat the fish that could have ate me. I ain't doing that. These fish are carnivores. They did not eat plants. These fish, these are baby sharks. Is what this is. No. I'm not playing no psychological games with myself. That extra teeth. And I got to boo-boo this out. How that's gonna feel? Ladies and gentlemen, it's really somebody out here with a tire that look like this. I mean, it's their situation that the tire went flat or was going flat, got a hole, whatever, and they just decided, I'm gonna just tape this up. I'm gonna put 37 strips of tape on there, and we just gonna keep on riding. It's dangerous out here, man. It's really, 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 it's wild. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to us? Because this ain't just you, this us. You doing this to us at this point. Putting everybody, like, you just never know. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are the police? The police, y'all pull everybody over for nothing. Anybody over nothing. Ain't no way in the hell you can tell me you ain't see this. You can hear this. All that tape on that tire, you can hear it. They coming down the street. You damn near sticking to the street.
Who would do that? I haven't seen this.
Pulling up everything from off the road. Rocks, candy, Tic Tacs, tar, oil, everything.
No. Okay. Stop sharing that. All right. So he is so funny. You guys should check him out. It's comedian Schuler King. And he has countless numbers of videos because he does them every day pretty much for like years and years. So I dropped the link. I know if you want to come up. I'm gonna find. There's one more that's so funny. My problem is I get the plays too. Actually, I'm gonna search for it on my phone. I think I should start doing that more. So it makes it easier. But I'm just kind of waiting to see if Lionel can come up or not for a minute, and then if not, kind of continue on. So okay, so what hey, what's up?
What's up? Good evening.
No, hey, good evening. How's your night going?
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no troublesome employees tonight.
No, it's an easy night. It's an easy night.
Okay, good. All right, so you're not totally bored to death tonight. I'll admit I'm kind of like, okay, maybe I'm not feeling as smart tonight. I'm kind of like, maybe because I'm rash. I'm just like, okay, I feel like, so I'm kind of breaking it up a little bit. But yeah, I'm interested to hear your thoughts because I mean, you couldn't come up for the day either. So, what do you think about the whole disproving evolution? Do you think they're like quack scientists and they're just it's a stretch or do you feel like what they're saying kind of makes sense.
I mean, there's different people attacking this from different angles. Personally, I mean, if you look at people who are into quantum physics, they will give you some type of explanation. I don't even say that. They call it spooky science with quantum physics because there are things that they cannot explain. There are certain things they can't quantify, and it does hint at basically a creator. What
Oh,
these
really?
guys go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, okay, because I was surprised. I don't know anything about quantum. Like, what would be kind of a general definition of that?
It generally it
Do you want me to pull it
generally
in?
you basically it's the study of the smallest forms of particles and their interactions.
Okay. So kind of how like on the last stream when they were talking about how even inside of each cell, it's almost like a little city. They have electricity. They have basically like
We would
trust.
technically we would go lower than that.
Oh, so okay, so inside of those. Oh, wow. Okay. What do they call those? The
Oh, I
smaller
mean, you can go for.
molecules?
I mean, you can go to subatomic particles, constituent particles. I mean, molecules if you want.
Is
They.
atom not the smallest thing then anymore?
Oh, atoms definitely has been surpassed.
Okay. All
So yeah,
right.
not no more.
Okay.
But some particles are more so on the theoretical side that they're exploring. But yeah, it's definitely not the smallest anymore. They also got quanta packets. So they have certain things like that, and they're using it to effectively explain how interactions work.
I didn't know you knew so much about all this. I mean, I know you're smart, but I mean, you kind of know everything as
Y'all
I'm
don't really
finding
hear me
out.
talk. Y'all don't really hear me talk on these panels. That's all.
Yeah, the subject doesn't really lean that way in like typical discussions either. So, but I think it's interesting. I like learning from like people out of someone's mouth that I know, preferably than like reading or even a random video. So what's a quantum packet? Is that what you said?
It can be quanta packets. I mean, again, it's just more so of like subsets of smallest forms of energy and how they interact and travel.
Okay. So kind of similar. So it's like it covers all matter versus like they are focusing on the genetics for the
Yes.
biology. Let's read Nala's comment. Am I saying that? Do you say not laws, not laws, or not laws? I'm not really sure how to like pronounce properly, but I usually like in my mind when I see his comments, I think like not laws, laws, like kind of like a sound, like a soft A. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up. Eastern religions fall more in alignment with things like quantum physics. Western religions are the anomaly of or the divergence from quantum physics. Okay.
Yeah, I
I
would say that's right.
I need help. Can we break that down?
Um,
So quantum
it's
physics that is the smallest. So basically, he's saying Eastern religions believe in like the smallest particles and all the science, and Western religions don't. Or is that what I'm?
you know what? There's an easier way to explain this, but you don't really follow that stuff.
Do you want me to pull up like just kind of a definition, like an
I
overall
mean,
definition?
you can.
Because I'm
I
sure if
want to
anybody watches the replay, like there'll be a lot of people that don't
because
know.
how I would explain it is probably not gonna be for everybody.
Yeah, I don't know that you can dumb yourself down enough. So um, I'm serious. I hate to like. I'm not gonna calm down, even though I'm gonna like probably staring off in a different direction. But because I don't want to just.
But I want to. I just
Actually, I'm
want
gonna have
to.
to because my keyboard is like. I've got my laptop kind of stacked on something.
But I'm just saying, like there are different ways that they're trying to connect how things operate. Like in here, they was pretty much primarily stuck on genetic codes or the actual coder. So who's coding effectively everything that is shaping who we are. And they're trying to align that with basically the theory of a creator. So there has to be an actual coder who's doing all of this, making us what we are, life, just what it is.
Okay, so it's basically right along with what the subject that they're talking about as far as the genetic code. There has
Oh,
to
I'm
be.
on their, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm on their subject.
Oh,
They're,
okay. You're not talking. I'm
so,
going to actually pull up this definition of quantum physics defense. So that way, obviously I know you know what it is, but that way, if it's like more simple,
because
maybe.
they're trying to understand, like they're breaking things down. They're trying to break things down.
Let's see. How does that work? Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you said. Oh, let me take that comment off really quick. One sec. Okay. There we go. All right. So, yeah, I mean, literally exactly what you said. Quantum physics study matter and energy at the most fundamental level. Aims to uncover the properties and behaviors of the very building blocks of nature. Very small objects such as electrons and photons, quantum phenomena are all around us, acting on every scale. However, we may not be able to detect them easily in larger objects. So I'm trying to kind of get to maybe what more of like what Nala is referring to as far as like why maybe you can, oh god, I'm going to stop. Why they would be against. I don't know if you're. I don't think he's here anymore. I don't know. I can't tell. My life thing goes like up and down, but and then a comment will pop up that like is more than it says it's here. So anyway, if you're here, um, and can say why they have a problem with if it's against the Bible's teachings or something, I don't know. But so anyway, okay. So what do they use quantum physics for? The study of
well,
that.
before I say that, I will bring up that, and it's not like trying to be a debate or nothing. It's just that when you are looking at things like the Bible, they're not really breaking things down. They're pretty much just telling you this is what it is.
Yeah, this is the end result. Like, oh,
Yeah,
go do this. Yeah.
they're not breaking nothing down for you to try to understand. They're not based, if something happens, it's a miracle or it's the work of God, but nothing's broken down to the point where you can actually understand it, and I'm going to say scientifically or logically, where this is where we come in with like the conversation in hand with the videos we were watching. They're breaking things down, trying to understand it.
Yeah, that's why I think it's awesome. See, because it says one watching it, also you're here too. Okay, cool. So let me pull up his comment real quick. Every time I go, I have to go back out to the big screen because it's hard to read. Okay. Quantum physics would follow something more along the lines of parsimony. Parsimony? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that word. Do you know what that means, Lionel? Parsimony?
Keep reading.
It's what?
No, keep reading.
Okay, or peace. Western religions are some of the most brutal religions that use religion to justify warfare. That is, yeah, that's true. I think the Christians probably have like responsible for the most like kill murders or whatever. Like I know that's not like fatalities or what do you call like fallen soldier, what do you call that? There's a term for that when like the people that die in war that are like your enemies, whatever.
I was about to say serenity, but harmony, same thing.
Harmony. Oh, you're talking about the definition of that word.
Yeah.
So follows like more like so okay, so yeah, it must mean some parse. Yeah, because money means like together, like as one. And parse. I was like root words trying to figure stuff out. So, but the religion itself, this is what I kind of try to start, like, people in the religion, they don't always manifest the same belief system, like, because men are flawed and they, according, if you believe the doctrine, then men are sinners. So men are always going to fail and fall short and create evil deeds. But I don't, the religion itself, I would actually argue that, like, Muslim or like Islam would be more, as far as like the actual doctrine, would be more brutal because, like, you are rewarded for, like, taking out certain types of people, right? Like, if it wasn't against the law and it was just Allah's, you know, like, praising Allah, then they would, carry that out. But obviously they can't. So, but yeah, I don't know Christianity where the violence comes from. I think it's more of used as an excuse to take land and resources and conquer people. And then they just say, "Oh, it's because you're not Christian or whatever." But I don't see anywhere in the Bible that it tells, like God's children are commanded to do that. But yeah, I mean, people are definitely wicked. So okay, I'm just kind of scrolling down on this. Oh, I got it. I'm on the wrong screen. I keep forgetting, and I try to use the touch screen like on the share. So let me scroll down on this, see if it goes into any. Okay, mathematics. So that's why I was drawn to this documentary, because of the mathematic part of it. Because theories, you can go back and forth all day, and yeah, you can get pretty specific with scientific theory. As far as you can eliminate them, obviously you can't prove them, but and this is kind of new, so I don't spend time in scientific communities to know how many people are on board with this and how many aren't. But I would guess it's pretty hard to disagree with. So this double slit experiment, is this where they send like an ion or like a neutron through the slits and then see if they dissipate after they get into the next, like, past it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
You're talking about the with the photons?
The double slit experiment. Are you familiar with that? I can pull it back up. I don't know how
You
I.
can
Oh,
flip
Dennis
and
is
slit.
here. Hey, Dennison. Yay, I'm glad you were here.
Greetings.
What's up?
It's another day in paradise.
Right? Oh, I can't believe you showed up after all that. Yeah, there was some little mishaps in the last show, but I'm getting the hang of it. So I'm really grateful that you're here. So, how do you have any opinions on? I know we've kind of been all over, but obviously you're pretty educated on the subject, it seems, based on your comments. So,
I never believed in evolution, so this is, this
oh,
is old
really?
news for me.
Okay. Why? What was like kind of the giveaway for you that like it wasn't feasible? Or
The missing link.
okay.
And if you think about it, there's like millions of missing links.
Yeah, I never believed in it because I've been like semi-religious growing up, so I just thought that isn't what the teachings are, so I didn't believe that. But now I kind of believe it from both the like practical and you know. So so
There's
is
some parts that are true, but I don't think it explains the origin of the species as claimed by Darwin.
exactly, like they can natural selection can still be true, and I want to say
Artificial selection is definitely true.
yeah, and
That we have poodles.
adaptation can still be true to some degree.
Hmm. And
So do
fruit
you feel like
flies.
that's what happened as humans? That's why we have different races, is because we adapted to our climates, but that's about as far as it gets. Like, we're not different species because obviously we can procreate when, internally when doctor does surgery on us, it doesn't matter what race you are, it's the same organs and the same structure in our, in our bodies. So is that what you think happened, or do you think we were like just kind of created in like variations in the first place?
I think some of these categories and classifications are leftovers from, kind of a previously existing scientific dogma. And that could even be called religious, because science and religion are kind of the same thing.
Turns out,
Um,
yeah, it's turning out to be
yeah,
which
just from different perspectives and methods.
mhm.
So I would say what we are today might not even be the same species, or whatever that word is. What's the word? I don't even know what word. We don't have one.
Yeah, we're Homo sapien, and I haven't, like, I don't know, I haven't fact checked for sure, but I watched a documentary that said almost all humans, well, all humans that they know of, like 1% Neanderthal.
And do we have a
And
common ancestor that split up from a landmass and then adapted and then found itself again? Or is there just a bunch of different sources that are similar species?
well, I think it was because it was Pangea, so we were all on one landmass, and not more based on the artifacts in Egypt matching up with the artifacts in the Grand Canyon as far as, the exact same language, the exact same dating. So, and I think what is the ancient Egypt, like 4,000 years ago? Is that correct? That was their guess.
Ancient Egypt?
Yeah, was it about 4,000 years, kind of the height of it, like King Tut and the pyramids and all that?
Um, yeah, 4 to 6
Okay. So,
with
um,
3000 BC.
okay. Yeah, so about 5. Okay. So in that case, we would have all been on the same landmass. So maybe when whatever happened to create, Pangea to break apart, whether it was a meteor or an earthquake or whatever it was, I think that's probably when all humans started, to obviously taken into different areas. Or, like you said, maybe they were spread out all over Pangea, even if obviously it was humongous. And then they were always different. I don't know. I feel like though, because traits are so adapted to the environments that people are, originate from. But even like they were saying, I don't know, it's got to this part, but I don't know if you believe this, but genetically we can disregard traits or discard, I guess would be a better word, discard. Like for instance, we have kind of a bone that could have been a tail at some, and probably it never was, obviously. But their argument is that the codes can is kind of like delete. Oh, hey, Prince. Hi, Israel. Thank you for coming. Um, so the traits can sort of become obsolete and almost kind of weed themselves out of the genetic codes, but without a coder, it can't add like new proteins and all the folding and all that goes on with them. So I don't
So,
know.
yeah, I don't think they understand the code well enough to make that claim. And I think a lot of these, it's much of these like so-called religious thinking is perception bias. Like we created God and math. So we describe the natural world in mathematical terms. And as mathematicians and coders, we see ourselves in our descriptions. But it didn't explain or presuppose a coder or a mathematician above us. Like if I have a can in front of me and I want to represent that can digitally, I could write software to do so. And then if I'm looking at a digital can, it may appear to have a coder. But does that mean I coded the original can? Did I code the aluminum? And I think that's kind of humans get stuck in these perspective biases when they're trying to describe the world as it exists. And so it becomes, in their minds, it becomes prescriptive instead of descriptive.
I see what you're saying. Because I mean, we can only formulate ideas based on like what is in our realm of perception. So yeah, that was a pretty deep paradox. It really was. Kind of like left me speechless for a minute. In terms of I was like, oh, I just lost my train of thought. So we did invent math. So, but aren't there like external factors that kind of like check and balance that math lines up with like sequences in the solar system, the universe, and like time? Hey, what's up? Let's read his comment. He's always got something to say too. Okay. So EA says, guys, is there a creator who created the hundreds of observable planets in our solar system and potentially millions of unobservable ones? Or is there just a natural process that creates planets? That's a
It's the
question
big
for
purple
Jennifer
protoplasm. It's a big purple protoplasm. That's what I call it.
Okay. And can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, it's like a big, huge purple blob. It's unfathomably big, and when the blob comes in contact with itself, universes spin off.
Really? So like it comes in contact with itself, how like it morphs or
Yeah, like two bubbles.
okay. How big would it like how many times? I mean, I guess maybe it's exponentially can't even gauge, but like what's that one sun that they found that is like what 5 times bigger than our sun? I forget the name of it. They gave it like kind of a grandiose name. But are you familiar? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
I
so
mean,
the big purple protoplasm contains thousands and millions, trillions of universes.
Of universes?
Yeah, it's
Blue Jay,
infinitely big.
you know our sun is technically a small star, right?
Right. It's so like insignificant.
So that
And
was kind of vague.
yeah, and stars just like burn out just like that. I mean, could happen to us anytime. This is really mind blowing. We really are just like not even a speck. I mean, a speck at least is visible or like almost so small that we are like a molecule kind of like you know what I mean? Or smaller. And you wonder, like, say you were a molecule that was like cognitive, and so you knew like what was going on, and then like our world looked like a solar system or something. I know it sounds crazy, but you know what I mean? Like, who knows if those little cells like have some kind of a consciousness? Probably not, but we don't really know. Interesting. So, do you think the creator would be? I know that you said the purple. What did you call it again? Purple what?
The big purple protoplasm.
Protoplasm. So, is there any kind of like a what would you call it? Like an intelligent being with like kind of like a brain that processes like ours that like makes decision and actually create, or do you think it's all kind of reactions from just like chemical reaction type thing?
Well, that's the great mystery, you know.
Hmm.
Does the big purple protoplasm think?
I don't know I just learned that.
I mean, you gotta think on that scale, it wouldn't be a brain. Like it'd
Right.
have to be something different. At that scale, we're not calling that a brain anymore.
What
Okay,
if we make up the nerve endings? The stars are the neurons, and
so it's like we're
information
all
is
symbiotic. Is that
yeah,
right?
and the universe shares information on a quantum level that we're not even aware of. kind of like colonies of plants on Earth.
So what Notlas is saying, do you know how to pronounce his username? Do you say Notlas? I don't want to keep saying it wrong.
It doesn't really have a pronunciation because it's really Zoltan backwards.
Oh, I see. Okay. That kind of makes sense, actually, with the like pictures and stuff. So chaos theory, would that be kind of like the purple or black?
Say again.
Would what Notlas is referring to, is that kind of the chaos theory? Is that similar to what you're referring to, where when it contacts itself and then it has kind of a reaction? Is that what that would be? Does he call in? I don't remember if I've ever seen him.
Yeah, it's kind of like determinism.
Anybody's welcome to call in, of course, like, no pressure. I know EA doesn't comment, he keeps us entertaining in the comments. I'm gonna pull up his comment right here. This kind of correlates with what Lionel was talking about with the age of the earth. So Genesis 1 states, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, if we find any planets that are older than Earth, wouldn't that then throw a wrench in that interpretation? Yeah, unless it means the beginning of like our, kind of world. I'm not sure. Yeah. Or, I mean, yeah, that's a good question. I didn't
Oh, he
understand
asked
it.
him a good question.
That was a really good question.
So
And
if you
then
believe in,
also,
sorry,
Lionel. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
if you believe in God, are you a theist or no? A theist, a deist,
Can you explain?
alien? Like, do you believe in the Christian God,
Yeah, non-denominational. I don't follow.
Abrahamic? Like that one guy.
Yeah, I mean the Old Testament, but I believe the Old Testament has been like fulfilled already, and so
So
I
you
mean,
think the Bible is also divine, like it's the word of God.
yes, but I believe there, because it was recorded and translated by men, that there may be.
Some
But I
mistakes.
believe that anything that Jesus said or any of the commandments, I do believe that those were like clearly stated. With all the little history things, they could be parables. Some of them, they could be, fables, or like, um, like to kind of, what do you call it? They just said that you had analogies, kind of, I don't know, but so I don't get too hung up on all the details and sit and argue with people, but I just believe primarily in like, that God mostly is love, but I do believe that, we have to accept Jesus Christ as our Savior, and that's like the most important thing, in my opinion, in my belief. Let me go back. So I've lost the comment section. I'm just gonna pull up. What about you? Do you have what do you consider yourself as far as any kind of theological beliefs?
Well, I was just wondering if contradictions in the Bible matter to you, and it sounds like it doesn't. That you think the Bible's kind of just like man's attempt to write down what God wants, right?
Yeah, kind of how you and I were kind of on the same page the other day about the clay
So
tablets
mistakes,
and all
there
of
could be
the,
mistakes.
yeah, missing links, missing pieces, and I believe part of that might be purposeful, so that way, because all like Islam and the Israelites and everybody still believes in the Bible itself, but they all completely different ways of interpreting it. So I kind of almost wonder if like God is testing us to see like what do you do? Do you have like love in your heart, or you're gonna look for any excuse to like judge and condemn or be evil toward like fellow men? Do you take that opportunity, or? But I don't know that. I mean, so okay, E is gonna send something. So he said, okay, so I'm just kind of gonna read the chat while I wait for E's thing to come through. But so he said, before something there was nothing. For nothing to exist, there needs to be something. Now, what's the limit of something? Oh my gosh! I don't know. It's so I can't even fathom like all those universes that you said. Okay, it's pretty crazy to think about. Um, I'm a heathen, but I'm open to having my mind changed. Just haven't seen sufficient evidence yet. Yeah, I mean, there really isn't conclusive. If there was, everybody wouldn't have so many, contradictory views and interpretations. But okay, let's
I
see.
think it might be genetic.
Belief systems.
Yeah, and the belief in God, like the God placeholder itself. There's
Okay.
some truth. I would consider myself a strong anti-theist.
Okay. So is that like an atheist or no?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure there's no God, and I'm glad about it.
Okay. So you don't believe in any kind of like transferring of like soul or energy, like um you just kind of believe in like an infinite death, like a brain death, and then that's it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't even believe in the law of conservationism. What
And
is
what
it?
would that be?
Conservation. That
So like
energy
you mean
cannot.
cremation? Like,
I might be calling it wrong. Maybe Lionel can correct me, but or someone in the chat. But basically, the principle that energy cannot be created or destroyed.
oh right. You don't believe that.
I don't necessarily believe that. No.
Okay. E, where did you send that link? Because I'm not seeing anything yet.
You have a Discord?
Oh, we put it in Discord. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me pull it up on my iPad. Um, Lionel, are you there?
I'm here, and just like
Okay.
yeah, and he was right. That's what it is. The law of conservation.
Okay. Do you guys mind talking for a second while I pull up on my Discord so I can like
Mm-hmm.
send it over to my I have to like email it to myself because I'm on the computer. Is that
Go
okay? Can
for
I
it.
okay, thanks, guys. Here's Ian's last comment. If you guys want to maybe try to is a belief in a
Is the
God
belief?
that oh okay, that's similar to what you were referring to. So I mean you guys can talk about whatever you want. But yeah, I'll pull that up real quick.
I think to have the capacity for curiosity that humans to have, and to also be denied the answers by the very nature of our existence, both in complexity and, like a lack of posterity. It's natural for human beings to create some kind of like object of worship or wonder. Um, once you have self-awareness, the next curious step is to wonder where you came from.
Well, I know
Isn't
he's
that
okay.
isn't that when we're taught that though? It was just I was thinking about that, and it's like I just remember being taught about a God. I wasn't in my head thinking there was one. That wasn't my default to just automatically assume of this higher power. For me, it was taught.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
where did
just comment. I got your message, A, so I'm gonna pull it up. I'm just address this so we can discuss this in the meantime. People's brains are hardwired for the perception of God. People who have epileptic seizures have profound insights or feelings of what we think of as God. You know, interesting. I've had like 7 grand mal seizures. A couple of them actually almost died, but I don't remember
wow.
anything. So I'm sure there's different types of seizures, but I would like come out of it and I'd be, on a stretcher in the ER or something, and like um whoever what was that was with me at the time, thank God they're there, but it called 911 and they're like, look like they've seen about 15 ghosts. They're like, oh my God, it's so scary. I'm like, oh sorry, my bad. Like, I'm fine. But yeah, it's sort of horrible looking. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't remember anything that's kind of caught my attention when I saw that comment. But I'm obviously people do. People who had those seizures were considered touched by God and became rulers. Oh, Julius Caesar had seen God in a seizure. Yay, thanks. You're so sweet. I know it's probably kind of late, Virginia, and she's pregnant, but if she's awake, I'd love to have her over. Okay, I found the video. Let me just. I've got a million windows open. Sorry. You guys go ahead. I'm almost there.
Well, you know you're a cool theist when everybody in your panel and everybody in your chat is an atheist.
Right. Yeah, I'm like such a believer in freedom of religion and individual rights, and I don't believe in trying to convince anybody of anything. I mean, first of all, it doesn't work, but also, it's a respecting of people believe what they believe for a reason, and that's their right. So okay, let's see, watch history. I see. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna pull up this video that Ye sent over. Let me just share it real quick. Okay, are you guys able to let me go back there? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Play it. So it's Neil deGrasse, or you know what I'm talking about. Okay, on God-driven evolution. Okay.
If life only began yesterday on Earth, it would have taken 4.5 billion years for
Can you
that.
take the comment down?
That's a lot of time. It would be pretty clear that whatever it is we call life was hard to happen. Okay, nature was struggling for billions of years.
Right.
But that's not what actually happened. We have the ingredients of life on Earth.
Yeah, the volume's good. Can you take the comment down?
Yeah. Yeah, find it now. Oh. All right, open two windows. Yeah, let me pause it because I'm gonna start. It's open two windows, so I was like going all over the search. Okay, let me just start it from the beginning so I'm not talking over it. Okay. Oh, wait, where? Oh, sorry, I was talking. I'm sorry, I didn't realize I had taken it down. So let me put it. I'm like, I was listening to it, and then I pull up stream. I'm like, oh wait, it's not there. Okay, here we go.
You need a producer.
I know I need an assistant, but they'll have to do it for free. It's gonna be pro bono. Let me make it big. Just kidding. Yeah, it's a lot of things to do. I'm impressed now. Every new content creators have to deal with so much all at the same time.
Yep.
Keep in mind, if life only began yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just cut
I was
you
just
off.
gonna say, and if you're hosting too, it's even more difficult.
Yeah, I'm new. This is like now my third stream. So you guys are so awesome for me. Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of getting the hang of it, but obviously still slow.
I think you're doing well.
Oh, thanks. Well, I really appreciate you guys. This is fun. I like learning all this.
I try not to watch or participate in shitty streams that I don't like.
Yeah, some of them kind of get a little drama. I mean, I can take them in like doses, but part of me is just like it's kind of not really benefiting too much. So like, been a lot of times I thought, well, if I do my own, I mean, and then maybe kind of combine like some fun stream, but also some educational and like deep thinking type things too. So
Yeah, I like this a lot more, and it's better to make friends to similar-minded people.
exactly. That's so true. And that's why I figured, I mean, I know a lot of people on here and people that aren't interested, which I had guessed would be the vast majority. Of course, I'm not offended. People have their own interests, but I figured over time, more and more people, and like, I have been so like impressed and like, because you and Lionel and
and EAE and like knowledge. You guys are like very, very educated. So you're actually teaching me. So it's awesome. And then I can like try to teach my kids, even though they don't listen. But okay, I'll go ahead and start this again. You guys ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Day on Earth,
Mhm.
it would have taken 4.5 billion years
Sorry.
for that to happen.
Okay.
That's a lot of time.
Lot of time.
It would be pretty clear that whatever it is we call life was hard to happen.
Mhm.
Okay. Nature was struggling for billions of years.
Right.
But that's not what actually happened. We have the ingredients of life on Earth: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, and they're all here on Earth as they are everywhere else in the universe,
Mhm.
practically everywhere else in the universe.
Right.
These are the most common ingredients out there. One for one. Number one ingredient in the universe is hydrogen.
Okay.
Number one element in life on Earth is hydrogen.
Okay.
Number two in the universe is helium, but it's chemically inert, can't use it.
Right.
So next in the universe is oxygen.
Right.
It's the next most abundant element in life on Earth. And then oxygen and the hydrogen come together as water.
Right.
Okay. And you will also find hydrogen and oxygen in other molecules, but we're mostly water by weight. Okay. Next is carbon. We're carbon-based life.
Right.
And so carbon is next in order in life. It is next in order in the universe. So these ingredients for life on Earth are everywhere.
Right. And so the recipe for this is actually the universe itself.
The universe itself.
Okay.
The universe itself. Now, so you have the ingredients. Now you need conditions.
Right.
Okay. So whatever were the conditions on the early Earth, we have to ask, were they unique in the galaxy or are they approximately repeated elsewhere? In our current catalogs, we have rising through 1 or 2 dozen planets in the Goldilocks zone of their host star.
Right.
As are we on Earth.
Right.
So you have all the base ingredients, and in the tiny little blip of the universe we have explored in search for planets, we have found 1 or 2 dozen planets in their Goldilocks zone. So now you ask, how long would it take? So you look on Earth, and the evidence, and recent evidence shows we have possible signatures of life on Earth as early as 4.2 billion years ago.
Okay.
Earth only began 4.5 billion years ago.
Right.
So, but let's even pull that in because that was very recent data and maybe it'll be overturned. Before that, the best evidence puts it at 3.8 to 4 billion years. That means Earth was around for like 500 million years. Then there was life.
Then something happened.
And something happened.
Right.
All by itself. There it is.
Right.
The ingredients, the time.
And the conditions.
The conditions. And it's not billions of years, it's 500 million years.
Right.
So however much challenge we have creating life in the laboratory from simple organic molecules, nature managed to do it all by itself.
Right.
Okay. So hence the statistical unlikelihood of it. But if we go around and search every single planet in the galaxy, which is more realistic than the whole universe.
Yes.
We can travel between galaxies. We don't know how to do that yet.
Right.
We ain't there yet.
Right.
But our whole galaxy still. And there's no other life. That would force us to look back to Earth and ask, was there something truly unusual that happened on Earth? Our star isn't odd.
No.
The location of our planet, the mass of our planet, the fact that there's water, the fact that none of that is, so we'd have to find something that was unusual to enable it happening here and then have it happen nowhere else.
Alien DNA. Okay. Which of course negates the entire supposition of
even if
this
that's the
whole
case,
question, right?
It means it came from somewhere else.
Right,
such as
exactly,
aliens.
right.
But then if it came from aliens, we'd find the aliens.
You have to find the aliens, right? Yes, that's why I said it negates the supposition of the entire question.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
So science would then turn to wondering what would be sort of uniquely. It would have to be a 1 in a billion, well, however many planets are out there. It would have to be so rare that it would happen 1 in that many planets.
Right.
Okay. So let's say there's 10 billion planets. It'd be 1 in 10 billion chance of something happening.
Right.
On Earth. And
but the same thing is, like you said, all of those planets have the same building blocks that we do.
Yes.
So what could that one thing be?
Yeah. No, we don't. That's what I'm saying. We don't. Science would have to turn to then try to answer that question.
Oh, I got you.
That's what it would be.
I got you.
Yeah, that's all.
So we would just have So you would have to isolate that one difference.
And it's very hard to come up with a strong idea about how and why something is when you only have one example of it.
Right.
So you might ask, will there be something that will compel scientists to say, "Oh, God did it"? Okay.
Well, yes,
because this is fundamental. Like,
right.
many religions would assert that Earth is the purpose of the universe, and the life on Earth, human life on Earth, is the object of God's affection anywhere in the universe. Okay, so I can tell you that that I don't know how quickly anyone would start thinking that, but what I can say is that if life on Earth were divinely created, and somehow we're forced to that conclusion, it does not force us to any other divine conclusion.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
That would be the extent of what you could conclude.
Exactly.
Because you would be able to now isolate the fact that this is indeed a creation. Right. However, what you cannot do is infer from that creation the intentions of that creator.
Or all the tracks that people have put forth that, according to their respective religions, was divinely revealed.
Exactly.
That you must behave this way and worship on this day and eat this food and don't eat that food and treat each other this way and not the other way. All of this is sort of the packaging of modern religion, ancient religions as well as modern religions that are not required by the scientist who might land there if, in fact, Earth is the only place with life in the universe.
Right. Well, once again, as a scientist, what you would do now is you would have to say, now I need definitive proof that I am supposed to act this way or eat this
so we need
food,
other kinds of evidence.
I need other evidence.
Exactly.
So now that the evidence has actually said, yes, this is the one thing, we are the ingredient X, or chemical X. Chemical X is God.
By the way, you'd have to also add the fact, and I posted this during the Super Bowl, where if the football field is a timeline of the universe, where one goal line is the Big Bang, and modern day is the other goal line, then the thickness of a blade of turf in the far end zone equals the time from cavemen to modern day.
Holy crap.
Okay. So if, according to the Catholic Church, which accepts evolution but asserts that at some point God breathed a soul
he did something
into primates, and that would make us humans distinct from other primates, that would have happened somewhere in
that blade of grass.
So my point is, if you're going to say God created the universe and created humans in his image, which is what one might find in Christianity, it would be kind of hard to account, and we're the only life in the universe such that it'd be hard to say what
is all that other stuff for?
What you got the whole rest of the timeline.
Right.
If really all this was created for us, why do we miss out on 4 billion, on 13 billion years of cosmic history?
Right.
Why do you wait so long?
Right.
These would be sensible questions that philosophers would ask.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And then, and the answer would be because there is no time for him. And so it's no big deal, no matter how long.
You got the answer already.
Yeah. The answer is there's no time for God because he is from everlasting to everlasting. Therefore, time and space exists within him. So he does not have to worry about time or space because all those things exist inside of him.
Your catechism hat on. Preacher man, go for it.
Listen, I know all this stuff.
Go for it. He got the explanation.
Yeah, that would be the explanation. So.
But what I would say, you can flip it and say, if your religion requires that human life is the only life and is the purpose of creation, and we do find other life, will you abandon your religion?
Right. Now, that's a very good question.
Right. That's just flips the table.
What does that do to the person who believes?
Or you find an alien species smarter than we are, who can just completely manipulate us and put us in a zoo for their entertainment.
They now become God?
Well, so depending on what powers they exhibit, if they don't have the powers that your God and your religion assert, then you can't then directly say that they're God. Or if they look really different from us, we're not in God's image.
We're not God's image.
Right.
And it's but that's funny. Yeah.
Right. So just to be fair in that, in that rotisserie there.
I got you.
Nice.
Okay. All right. I think I'm the only one that can hear that. That was awesome. Oh my gosh. That was a really good video.
What are your thoughts, Blue Jay?
Oh, that was a lot. I just the football field analogy is like kind of standing out to me a lot. So he's saying the whole football field, like our timeline, like the amount of time that humans have been would be equivalent to like one blade of grass in the whole field. Is that how we explain? Is that what that meant? I understand that correctly.
Our time in universal scale.
Yeah, the football field analogy is saying like a whole football field. Humans would have only existed for like the percentage of like one blade of grass in comparison to the billions of years the Earth.
Right. It would suggest that the Earth is a far more complex organism, wouldn't it?
Yeah, do you think they're settled?
Do I think what?
The Earth is billions of years old.
I wouldn't say I think it, but I'm not. I'm skeptical of carbon dating, but not like this decreationists are.
Yeah, I wonder about. Yeah, you probably. I don't know if you were still on there. I know you stayed up late as it was, but we're talking about the carbon dating and like how the Grand Canyon now, where the artifacts are that they thought was like hundreds of thousands of like sediment layer, sediment years down, because they can match up the timelines to the Egyptian artifacts that are like 5,000 years old. Now they're thinking, okay, wait, so all these layers actually didn't take as long to build as like previously thought. So kind of
Yeah.
redetermining the age of the Earth, perhaps.
I think they're making assumptions with the sedimentary layers, and obviously, it's an assumption to begin with to assume that carbon decay rates have been consistent.
Because it's half-lives, right? So it continues to go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, I respect the science, and I'm not ignorant to it, and a lot of people who just don't understand how it works, but it's still a presumption. We cannot see into the past. We just don't have that ability. This is we're showing up to a crime scene, and we're studying like blood splatter.
Yeah, so now like considering that we believe, that these artifacts that were found in the Grand Canyon at this certain level of like elevation that they claim. So say we believe all that. How else would you explain that the age would match up to the the 5,000 year mark? Would you think that the Egyptians were actually more ancient than previously thought, or would you think the sediment layers are accumulating much more quickly than the carbon dating had previously like indicated?
Why not both? ¿Por qué no dos?
Maybe somewhere in the middle. Well, I guess the biggest thing is that fact that humans would have been in societies and those artifacts would be very old, and whether or not they could survive that much time. So I think that believing that the ancient Egyptians are a lot older is a bigger, like assumption, because it affects so many beliefs we have about like human beings. Whereas the sediment layers, that although it does affect other factors, it's not like completely like turning everything upside down. It's just like, okay, well maybe those layers settled, or maybe they were in the ocean. This just seems like it's more easily explained to
I
me.
think we're even more biased when it comes to human anthropology than we are in, because there's no such thing as objective. Every human being that is studying these things has an agenda, and if they're unaware of their own agenda, that makes them even more susceptible to bias.
Yeah, because some people believe, especially if you're the type that believes that like the chosen people are like the specific race, and and they only look like this and come from this area. So to say, oh no, we were all living together and then we all separated and we're all the same, like that threatens some people's core values.
Yeah.
Right? So okay, so isotope degrade at a constant value. This is not Liz. I try to make sure I say the name first in case someone's just listening. Not Liz said isotopes degrade at a constant value. Also, Blue Jay brought up topographical indicators. Ice core sampling is also very precise. Yeah, I want to flip back that we call in Greenland. In fact, maybe I'll see if I can find something really quick on the Grand Canyon. Just like a short clip with the artifacts in it. Because like for instance, this comment, the Grand Canyon alone shows like a billion years of Earth's history right on display. Yes, that was the consensus or like the most like logical likely belief. But now with how far down those artifacts were found, it challenges the billion year concept. So let me see if I can find something. Lionel, are you still here? Are you able to kind of like
Oh,
talk?
I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
just
I want to like
listening.
just leave Denizen like in charge. I mean,
A
My
short
bad.
video on that,
water.
on what they found in the Grand Canyon. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's what I want to see what I can find real quick. I'm gonna look on my phone. I'll just be staring down. So, if you guys want to talk for a second, I'll leave it unmuted. But well, actually, unless I start playing something. But for now, I'm just gonna kind of see. And if I can't remember like where I saw it exactly, so I'm sure I can find something like maybe even better or more credible than the one. This Greenland crater, I saw it today. I'd never seen that before. Maybe I'll just start that while I'm looking at the other. I'm gonna pull it up.
Do you
Hopefully,
think isotopes have always decayed at the same exact rate, Lionel?
The exact same? No.
So our carbon dating methods could be off then.
I think so, honestly. Want some real talk.
so can you explain just kind of like an overview of like an isotope?
It's basically like an element that has particular number of protons but different numbers of neutrons in their nuclei. Um, they have different atomic mass but not in particular properties. I mean, I'm butchering it right now, but it's along those lines.
Okay.
It's
So,
effectively an element. It's effectively an element.
okay, I gotcha. All right, that makes more sense. Radiation from the Big Bang lasts only a certain amount of time. Yeah. Is the purple protoplasm like? Did I say that correctly?
He had the big purple
Yeah.
protoplasm.
Is that sort of like Big Bang? Kind of same
It's
concept.
it's a tool that I use to replace everybody's presuppositions. So the Big Bang, God, whatever you try to put in there, that's where I use the big purple protoplasm.
Is it purple?
Oh yeah, purple's my favorite color.
Oh, you made it up?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I know. Interesting.
The
Okay.
big purple protoplasm is a result of having theological discussions with people from all over the world for like 40 years, 35 years or so.
Okay. So in your mind, I mean, that's just as feasible of an idea as like the Bible. Like
Exactly.
it's kind of just a tall tale. Okay, I get it.
Exactly. It's kind of a rhetorical device, but it's not glib. It's consistent, and for people who can recognize the gaps in their logic, it works. It's an effective tool to communicate.
Yeah, like I said, my personal opinion on all those gaps in history, I don't think it's possible that men could get everything right. And also, like the way that they recorded things and how fragile and temperamental some of those were, but also not only that, you have kind of how we were saying the scribes were basically the wealthy employees, like they hired them, so they're gonna tell them what they want them to put down. Like I was the king, and I was, or like whatever makes them like their legacy stand out and go down, passed down. And so things could have been a little different, but they just kind of like angled it toward their own. So let's see what's this one. Okay. Um, I don't know. Okay, wait, sorry. Okay, I defer to the X. Yeah.
Does this information that you have learned in the last few days help you piece together what you were trying to find?
Yeah, it's adding. I mean, I saw this documentary first like a year ago, and since then I've watched it again, like at least two, five, maybe three times in its entirety. I'll just watch it every so often, but sometimes I'll like start it and then I'll be able to watch for like 30 minutes, and so it's just one of those that really have to sink in. But yeah, all these things that you guys are kind of adding on to it and your like take on it, that are obviously based on actual knowledge, not just like opinions. But yeah, I mean it definitely kind of like reiterates the same concepts and like helps me kind of solidify them in my mind, like how it sort of works. So I know some of it is like, especially with the solar system and the universe, it's kind of speculative, but I mean there are some hard facts that can be, verified. I know he said in like one of his earlier comments, um, he doesn't like Neil deGrasse Neil deGrasse Tyson. Is that how you say
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. That always makes me think of that show that was like on Disney or Nickelodeon, Degrassi or something. But anyways, yeah, I've heard him say that he like loved him when he was a kid, and now he's kind of like sell out. So it's funny. I mean, I know CT's like all into this stuff. He's, check out him one of these times if you want. Okay, let's see here. Let me go back to this one. Okay. And then after I read this couple comments, I'm going to play that Greenland ice big hole thing, and then we don't have to watch all of it, but that'll kind of can look at that for a minute while I'm looking for the Grand Canyon, because the Earth is fascinating, especially the ocean. I would love to like dive into that more too. Okay, I defer to the experts when it comes to the age of the Earth. I don't have a geology degree, never will. Trust their science. If any of it were bunk, okay, gotcha. They'd be trying to disprove it and win a Nobel Prize. Well, I mean, they kind of. Well, we'll see. I mean, the Grand Canyon, like I said, it may be just you guys might see the video and think, "Oh, that's not credible." And maybe I've been like, tricked, but I don't know. It seems interesting. So, okay, used to be able to see the radiation from the beginning of the universe on terrestrial television. What's that mean?
I
What's
don't know.
terrestrial television?
Terrestrial television would
Oh, the
be
weird fuzzy
airwaves.
tunnel. He clarified under. Okay, so that, and then you hear like little sounds, like
Oh, snow.
yeah, and then you get some like interference. Did you guys ever have that happen when you'd be on the phone and this is like landline type phone, and then all of a sudden it would like collide with somebody else's conversation, and you'd hear like a full on conversation.
Yeah, I used to tap into people's conversations on purpose too for fun.
You knew how to do it?
Only in Minecraft.
Oh, okay. So this
And
is
if you're using a wireless phone, it's even easier.
really, I didn't know that. Well, yeah, technology, obviously. I mean, not only the maneuvering part, but just, I'm not
back in the
a
80s
great
and
adopter.
90s, when
Hmm.
cordless phones were really popular, you could
Hmm.
drive by people's houses and listen to their phone conversations.
Really? You just had to get
Yeah.
on their channel or their
Yeah.
like radio frequency. That's
Yeah,
funny.
like it's around 90 megahertz, gigahertz. It's FM.
Wonder if that happened to like us and we don't know. Maybe we had like someone, a stalker of some sort. I had one stalker when I was a kid. I was like 11 or something. I'm like, it was a kid at my elementary, and he would like come into our backyard because it was like an open field sort of, and then he was shooting like blow darts at my window. That's weird. But anyway, that was like the only time. So I doubt he knew how to do that. But I don't know.
EAE. Um, if you're trusting what the experts are saying, they do tell us that they can only really accurately go up to 60,000 years, and that they also have created percentages of errors also.
Yeah, you gotta think this what we call stable is from our tiny little slice of perception, which is that blade of grass. It would make more sense to me that all isotopes are unstable, and the rate of decay. There's not just a rate of decay, but a rate of instability. So, if you could zoom way out and observe over much longer periods of time, you could see that the universe isn't as stable as we think it is.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty, ignorant and that's why I think that keeping an open mind is always good. It would be really idiotic to think that we figured it all out,
Well,
already.
the thing is, the universe. Well, they state that the universe is also expanding. So you also have to take in what he just said and add that in there also.
Oh, because what do you call it? Like the chemical reactions are continuous.
All right. So not only are we getting distorted information in the present as we expand, but you would have to reverse extrapolate that into the past. It would mean everything was more condensed.
Oh, okay. So kind of, I mean, this isn't like a chemical analogy, but like Pangea, like it was like, and then it's like, so is it just creating more like gray matter?
I don't know. That's a good question.
So I have heard that, and then they say that might be like considered the portals, the gray matter.
Right. Yeah. There could be connective tissue left over, wormholes, folds, like.
Yeah. Should we watch this one about this big ice hole real quick, and then we can stop it. I haven't watched all that. I started it, but so we can watch it together. But let me see. I think this right one. If it's Destiny, let me just scroll down and see.
Throughout history, our planet has been through multiple ice
Not that
ages
Destiny.
and fully covered in ice at least twice. From the poles to the equator, the Earth was a giant snowball at least several times. Today, the landscape has transformed. The ice is starting to rapidly melt, and scientists are wondering what secrets could be concealed beneath this frozen tundra. This is the second largest ice sheet on Earth. It has an impressive thickness of nearly 2 miles, covering 80% of the area of Greenland. Here, rapid glaciers like Jakobsjøen move at an astonishing 150 feet per day, reshaping the landscape, while coastal waters create icebergs towering 300 feet, about the height of the Statue of Liberty. But these things are not what makes the island unique. To this day, the frozen surface hides all kinds of secrets, but scientists have already started uncovering some of them, and what they found was difficult to predict. Although Greenland is over 3 times the size of Texas, its total population is just 56,000 people, the lowest population density in the world. Frigid temperatures make the majority of the island uninhabitable. But along the southwest coast, the warming effect of the Gulf Stream.
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna say one thing real quick. I don't want to talk about it, but actually, I just found out because I found out about all my like ancestry and everything, like not like super long ago. But Greenland is actually part of Denmark. That's like where the majority of my ancestors came from. I guess they had Mormon missionaries that went there and like converted people, and so they came to like Missouri and Illinois first, and then they were pioneers, but they didn't speak English or anything. But yeah, I didn't realize that Greenland and Denmark is like part of it. But anyway, I'm just saying. So
Trump offered to buy it from Denmark when he was president.
oh really? What did he want with it? Like thinking there's oil or something in it, maybe?
Well, there probably is, but I think it's been a while since I looked at a map, but
Pretty big. Yeah.
it's right next to us, I think.
Yeah, so like Denmark and Norway, and Sweden, and then it's like just like hop, skip, and a jump, over to the
So
northwest.
it'd be a huge, like, unexplored strategic landmass in between the United States and Europe.
Yeah, and they call it Greenland to trick people, because they got attacked a lot. But yeah, I actually was some of the one line of my family, I don't even know, but it went back to like 150 AD, and it was Vikings, and they had like their crest and everything. So like I got some Viking blood, but maybe that's why I find it too much. But
So I
anyway,
thought it was called Greenland because back in the day it was lush.
no, actually I think it was because Iceland actually. Well, maybe you could be there. Maybe I just heard this
And
called old West.
Iceland was cold.
No, they actually did it. So Iceland was nice, and Greenland has always been a big chunk of ice. But that way, when people were like coming and looking, they would be tricked, so they couldn't like invade them.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that's why they even went there in the first place, because they were like large groups of them, like the Erics, and they were like banished from. I don't think it was called Denmark at the time, but like Scandinavia. And so they like literally had to just go find a new home, and they ended up kind of living amongst the what do you call it? They're not
Indigenous.
yeah, they call yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And so anyway, they kind of taught them how to live, and they wore like seal skin and all kinds of stuff. And they did create a society, but I mean, yeah, I don't think it was ever nice, and then frozen earth. It's always been since humans have been, recording things. It's just been
That's the first time I've heard that it was a trick.
Yeah, that's what I was told, and maybe it'll address it in this. I'll go back to the video. I just had to just to put it in some context of what who's been kind of in charge of it, and why it's just so isolated. I don't think because Denmark's actually very pretty, and so I don't think they really have a lot of people living there. I'm sure they just keep it. But I didn't know Trump tried to buy it. That's really interesting. I'll have to look into that. Okay, I'll play it again. Oh wait, sorry. Where'd it go? Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. It opened me up more windows again for some reason. So annoying. Okay, wait. I gotta close them. Do you guys see it? It's still on the screen, right?
Yep.
Okay, there it is. I didn't do this to me the other day. It's like a million. Okay, wait.
Results in moderate temperatures, creating a comfortable
Oh
habitat.
my gosh, sorry.
That's where the third of the population resides. In the central part of Greenland, temperatures remain below zero at all times. The snow there never melts, gradually accumulating instead. When new snow falls on the Greenland ice sheet, it's initially light and fluffy, with a density of about 50 to 70 kilograms per cubic meter. As it gets covered with new layers, all this weight compresses the layers below, increasing their density. At a depth of over 260 feet, air bubbles within the snow cannot compress any further, and snow solidifies into glacier ice. In total, there's 695,000 cubic miles of ice in Greenland, which is thought to have been there for hundreds of thousands to millions of years. But Greenland wasn't always frozen. Beneath its icy cover lies a colossal rocky island that was once a flourishing haven where life thrived amidst valleys, rivers, and numerous lakes. Even today, not all of Greenland is ice-covered. Moving to the southernmost reaches of Greenland, there's the Chingwa Valley, the only forested area on the island. As temperatures continue to rise, it's possible that this green patch of land will trigger the spread of vegetation to other parts of the island, gradually making it green again. In 1966, US military scientists drilled through nearly a mile of ice in northwestern Greenland, discovering a once green past. They found twigs, leaves, and unique, perfectly preserved fossil plants. Scientists describe their state as freeze-dried. If you pour some water on them, they'll unfurl, looking almost as if they were frozen just yesterday. About 400,000 years ago, parts of Greenland had spruce forests and tundra, a flat, cold, and windy area without trees, but with resilient, low-lying plants. Today, all this serves as a time capsule, allowing us to peek into Greenland's ancient ecosystems. Greenland's thick ice sheets act as an insulator. The ground beneath remains shielded from the frigid temperatures and winds above. Meanwhile, the Earth's internal heat warms the ground from below. In some areas, the ice sheet is firmly attached to frozen ground, providing stability. But closer to the edges of the ice sheet, where it's thinner, the base has thawed and the ice is laying over a moist soil. If there's enough water beneath, it can make the ice flow faster, and this more rapid flow rate can potentially accelerate melting rate. Currently, the ice sheet in Greenland melts away at a rate of over 200 billion tons per year, enough to fill almost 91 million Olympic swimming pools, which hold 660,430 gallons of water each. And if it melts entirely, the global sea level will rise approximately 23 feet, causing devastating damage to millions of people who live along the world's coasts. According to a study made in 2019, around 680 million people reside in low-lying coastal regions. By 2050, this number could surpass well over 1 billion. Right now, Greenland loses more ice than it accumulates, although it will probably take a long time for all the ice to melt. The staggering magnitude of the ice sheet is hard to grasp. Its weight has built so much pressure that it led to a depression in the central part of the island 1,000 feet below sea level. And the same thing happened about 20,000 years ago. A colossal weight pushed parts of Earth lower into the crust. Ice sheets were all over the world. Scandinavia, the Arctic, and a large part of the USA and Canada were all covered in ice. And currently, something interesting happens to these areas. Think of our planet's surface as a massive shape memory mattress. Press down on it and it'll compress. But once you remove the pressure, it'll slowly start to go back to its initial form. In a similar way, as ice sheets shrink, the land under the ice rises, while the neighboring territories adjust by sinking. This process is very slow, and some regions are still recovering, while others, like the United States East Coast, will continue sinking for thousands of years. Compared to other parts of the Earth, regions like these are at much higher risk of higher sea levels. Today, Greenland is anything but green, but scientists have already been able to have a look underneath its ice cover, revealing what the island's been hiding for centuries. In 2013, a new canyon was discovered. It's over 460 miles long, 6 miles wide, and about 2,600 feet deep. This makes it more than 1.5 times longer than the Grand Canyon in Arizona. Up to this date, it's the longest canyon ever found on Earth. Although you can't see it just yet, the canyon is buried beneath billions of tons of ice. The subglacial canyon was probably once the channel of a massive river, created by frequent flood events that pushed water through the bedrock some 2 million years ago. And it can still carry melted water deep below the ice sheet and into the sea. Once, Greenland even had a massive lake, covering an area as large as Rhode Island and Delaware combined. It drew water from at least 18 streams, reaching depths of 800 feet. Today, the ancient lake is a depression filled with sediment, holding secrets of a time when it was water instead of ice that shaped Greenland's landscape. Decades of ice-penetrating radar surveys revealed a network of mountain ranges extending thousands of meters above sea level. Their sharp ridges and deep valleys affect the movement of the massive ice sheet above, which takes on the shape of the hidden mountainous terrain. And then there are submerged fjords, hundreds to over thousands meters deep channels carved by the glacial forces. Greenland's glaciers are constantly moving, And how and where they go depends on the subglacial mountains that act like obstacles. They guide the flow of the melting ice, changing its speed and direction. And fjords are like pathways that icebergs follow to escape into the ocean. The island's icy veil doesn't only hide a mysterious past, but also a rich reservoir of natural resources. Geological surveys suggest the presence of rare earth elements and precious metals. Elements found in Greenland's bedrock, such as neodymium, dysprosium, and europium, are critical in the production of modern electronics, renewable energy technologies, and different high-tech applications. The island's subglacial terrain could also harbor precious metals such as gold, silver, and platinum. But also there's water, and a lot of it. Locked within the vast expanses of the Antarctic and Greenland ice sheets, it holds more than 68% of the Earth's freshwater supply. Greenland's unique geological features hold massive potential for geothermal energy development, a sustainable alternative to traditional energy sources. The idea is to harness heat from the Earth's interior that escapes to the surface. The process is known as heat flow, and the area along Greenland's west coast shows heat flow 3 times higher than the island's average. Unlike fossil fuels, geothermal power generation produces minimal greenhouse gas emissions. Perhaps one day, Greenland will be humanity's ticket to a carbon-free lifetime.
Okay. I've been kind of looking at the Grand Canyon. So is it boring? Or do you guys like
No.
it? Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Okay. I thought it was supposed to be like this big hole, and I was like, okay, they're talking about like climate change too much. But I found one that because I want to make sure that the source was like decent. But there's one that was Joe Rogan, and it's kind of a little bit longer than I would like, so I can kind of fast forward a little bit. But I'm just gonna play that one because I just kind of trust that he does his due diligence a little more than maybe some others. So let me just see if I can find it. And I know I've been like almost 2.5 hours. So can you guys explain to me while I pull that up? Kind of, did they say anything about like a big hole? Like why? I'm trying to figure out why the title of the video was that. And I saw it on like several other videos too. Did they even address that? Oh, is Rogan not good to listen to? Okay. Well, I know he's interviewing like somebody. Let me see what it was 2 months, but I'll just read the description. It said, U.S. just shut down Grand Canyon after a drone captures what no one was supposed to see.
Say it again.
It says U.S. just shut down Grand Canyon after a drone captures what no one was supposed to see, and that does seem to be a common theme through other content creators' videos too. And this one was 2 months ago. Some of them were like 5 months, but okay, maybe. Oh, this one's only 3 minutes. Let's do this one. Okay, I pulled it. Let me see if I can. Okay. So now I figured out a little bit of a shortcut just to go to my history after I play it on my phone.
Check your comments, Blue Jay.
I'm sorry?
Check your comments.
Okay. Yeah, let me go scroll back. Yeah, good idea. There's a lot of them. Okay. Let's see where we left off here. Okay. Okay. So Vikings call it Greenland to attract settlers and then abandon the people for a couple hundred years. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's crazy. Why would they do that?
And that video claimed that it used to be green there too.
Yeah, but didn't it say that was like way, way long, like before humans were around though, right? I think
I
it
don't
had
know.
been covered for millions of years in like ice. I think it said they a long, long time ago before like we were recording history and stuff like that. But I think, yeah. Okay, so the settlers got so desperate for wood to make ships, they discovered. Sorry, this is like Vinland. It won't let me see that comment very easily without zooming in. Okay, and Canada and intermixed with the indigenous populations. Yeah, it's actually like a term, like a specific ethnicity.
Inuit.
Yes, yes, thank you. And they can like so crazy, pretty interesting how they wear those seal skins, and I mean, I guess there was plenty of fish to eat, but okay. There are native groups in Canada that share genetic markers with European. That makes sense. They kind of there's Iceland, Greenland's like right next to Canada, I think, right? Or is that next to Russia? Oh, I'm sure actually. I have a little
What? Greenland?
yeah, is it by Russia or Russia's
It's
on the other?
it's close to Russia. It's in between
Okay,
Russia and Canada, and Europe and
so
Canada.
that would make sense. Okay,
I think.
okay. So he just kind of clarified that. So now this says it's been frozen for hundreds of millions of years. There are actually huge pockets of methane under the ice from the Jurassic period. That's cool. So like the methane gas, other than I mean, of course, burn it for like fuel. What else does that do? Is that what's
Uh,
in volcanoes and stuff? It's kind of like sulfur, right?
could be helping regulate the temperature of the Earth too, right? Because doesn't methane like absorb heat?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know.
I mean, I know you can burn it, but okay. And so if that ice melts, people aren't going to be able to breathe the atmosphere. Oh, because of the methane will release. Interesting. There's probably tons of dinosaur bones then, aren't they? They just said the Day After Tomorrow movie. Basically, I haven't seen that. Um, oh, is that the one that CC was saying he kind of acted weird that day, and he was like, it's almost like he got possessed or something. Do you guys remember that? I don't know if you guys watched CC like
I'll
that.
just say, what are you talking about?
Asked him. He came on one day. And he's like, "I saw this movie. I'm pretty sure that was the movie." But he was like tripping out, and he was talking about it for everybody. He almost seemed like he like got overtaken or something. Okay,
I think the Day After Tomorrow is like a mini ice age, quick
Yeah,
onset.
that's basically what happened at the end of it.
is that the? Is it not the old movie within last year? And it was like it was some kind of a different. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But there was another one that.
This came out years ago.
Okay, then no, not that. It had like a similar name, I think, and it was
It's when
basically.
it's like when the sea levels were rising and a whole polar shift was happening, and thus, yeah, like you said, the ice age was coming.
I think this one had like Ben Affleck maybe, and it was like
Dennis
Armageddon
Quaid.
and like The Purge almost kind of combined. I don't know, but
Interesting way to put that.
yeah, it sounds awful, doesn't it? Okay, okay. Man, I thought YouTube had autoplay. You guys get a pause and drop commentary every 60 seconds or so. Oh, we have to pause every minute. Is that what?
That can help stave off the algorithm, but technically, if it's matters of public interest or for discussion, then it's fair use.
Yeah, because the chimpanzee one, it actually did give me a copyright, but it said that it's not like violate, like it recognized it as a copyright, and it wasn't a strike.
Right.
So I don't know if I was monetized, that I wouldn't get paid. I don't know what all that means. I was like,
Yeah, if it were monetized, they wouldn't give you any of the ad revenue.
I got
Or
you.
they'd have to give it to whoever the copyright holder is.
Okay, that makes sense. And so
But it's
far,
not a violation.
yeah. And so far, nothing has come up from that Hoover Institute, the evolution video that we watched like almost half an hour of the other day.
And
So,
the algos automatically like do that stuff without any copyright claim. So technically, if you respond and you refute it with a valid reason for using it, they would have to, like the copyright holder would have to sue in order to get you to take it down.
Okay, like, so you're saying if I was being withheld funds, but since like they're not taking my video down, I don't have to do anything. Like in this particular case, right? But if I was getting paid and they wouldn't, you're saying in that case I would refute it and then battle with them.
Yeah, what'll probably happen? See, like people who are like they're trying to look out for their content, they'll come after you actively on YouTube and it'll mess with your channel. But something like PBS, or you know what I'm saying? Like that's they don't care what you're doing. And if you what'll happen is you reply to YouTube and then YouTube has to hear back from the copyright holder before they can pursue anything, and that's not likely to happen. Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't care that we're talking about his video. You know what I'm saying? Joe Rogan
Right.
doesn't care.
That's how I think the Hoover Institute, because it's pretty educational anyway. So, I mean, I'm guessing they would expect people to introduce it or like even show the kids at school a teacher or something like that. I'm going to say next to what he said. He said, "Okay, good show. Let me make the screen bigger." I'm squinting. So. But I gotta go
What
to bed.
paradox?
What's up?
What paradox is he talking about?
Oh, you okay? I didn't see that right. Gotta get to bed. The discussion here is definitely more elevated than some other places. That was my best attempt at a call. CT and Dennis kind of broke my brain with that paradox. I don't know. I haven't been tuning in. I sometimes like see replays a little bit of TV. I like to be able to fast forward and see it. But I actually have seen you on there. So I used to go on CTs a lot more, but I think we kind of like missed each other. I think you started coming on a lot more as I was like not coming on. I like CT still. It's nothing to do with him. It's just a couple of people in there that I just can't. They're out like just mean spirited, and it's just not worth it. But no, I think CT's awesome. He said, "Give me a couple weeks." Okay. And then, is DMT? That's that hallucinogen. Is that what he's talking about? DMT werewolves. Oh, he's talking about Joe
It's
Rogan.
Joe
Yeah.
Rogan.
Well, actually, he's not. Joe Rogan's not the only person that I don't. Joe Rogan doesn't even claim to see those werewolves. I don't think. But people at the Skinwalker Ranch that we were doing, remember they saw the orbs come down, and then and so I had a friend come over like the next day after that, and I was like, "Hey, I did a video," and I was like showing him, and then I was sort of looking at suggestions that came up after that, and one was an actual video, and it's like I think it was Russia, maybe I'm not sure, but they had recorded in these like it's almost like 5 or 6 lights, and they kind of like morph as they're moving across the sky and change form. But you could tell it was the same as another video that was totally separate, also home video, had that same 6 light structure. But it drops this orb, and you can just kind of see it like falling down this little circular ball. It's kind of interesting. I'm like, wait, that's what they said that they saw at the Skinwalker Ranch, you know? But, I just was looking for. I'll try play one more, and then we can kind of decide if we want to like call it a night after that. But this little short one, I was looking for the Grand Canyon thing, but this other one came up. So we don't have to do the Joe Rogan one, but this Utah thing, like another Utah thing that was really recent. Let's see. I need to get a mouse. This is bad, but yeah, I had one and it like was like dropped in water, so I just kind of thought, well, this probably doesn't work. And throw it away.
You dropped your mouse in water?
When I was no, it was like when I was moving. It was in a box and it had like office supplies in it, and I think I had some boxes sitting out on my patio for a while. I was like trying to find room
Got rained
because
on?
yeah, I did. A lot of stuff got ruined. I was in like a 2,100 square foot, and then it flooded in the basement area with like sewer, like the gray water and like whatever else they call it. So I had to move out real quick. So everything in storage, and then I was like this place. So then I found this place, and so I had to then bring everything from storage. But and it's like 800 square feet less. So anyway, I had boxes sitting outside. Yeah, tons of stuff got ruined, but oh well. I'll just see what this one says. I don't have any idea if this is like a credible source. But well, actually, oh, that's great. Let me look. I just had that Utah one up. It was kind of short. Is this the 3-minute one? Okay, yeah. Steve Campbell. Just annoying him to touch the screen. Let's see. I feel like there should be a way to like replace the thing instead of starting a whole new. But it probably is. I just want to do it. Okay, here we go. Let's see if this is decent. It's like 3 minutes, so. I'm gonna mute it if all this music. Hopefully somebody talks. Okay, this is lame. Okay, we'll just see what happens. I guess it's showing him. It says mommy, so you can see that. I don't know. This is like a legitimate source. Why aren't they talking?
Giant mommies.
I feel uncomfortable there. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna my history on my phone because where they go? I mean, there are the ones that they're like really long, and until I verify that they're like even legitimate, I don't want to just play random. But I like Smithsonian, the History Channel. I'll just read like the title. Oh, look at those feet. That's kind of cool though. It says History Channel says America unearthed Egyptian treasure discovered in the Grand Canyon. That was 3 years ago, and then Smithsonian cover up ancient Egyptians and giants in the Grand Canyon. That was 1 year ago. So maybe something we could look into some other time. But let me see. Where's that one? Oh, that's kind of cool. I mean, I do know that, the Four Corners and like, Utah, Arizona, a little bit of New Mexico, that area does have like a rich history as far as like things they find. I think they find dinosaur bones and everything there. Do you think the dinosaurs lived at the same time as people?
By definition, no.
Okay, let me get this thing out of here.
There may have
Especially
been some left over, like
like the
dragons.
smaller ones, like kind
Yeah.
of birds maybe, or like crocodiles type thing. Yeah. Okay. It's actually, I mean, if it's true, that's kind of interesting.
But I think
But
that era of like where the oxygen levels were much higher, the carbon levels were much higher. It's like a different kind of land mammal that can't that died out for a reason, that the small mammals took over. The meek inherited the earth.
you're saying you think there were small mammals only, like along with dinosaurs, which were like reptilian.
Right, and we're still here, and the dinosaurs didn't make it.
Yeah. Didn't get enough food. Okay. Well, let's see what this one is real quick, and then we can kind of. And I was like totally fine with veering off that video for a while. And anyways, I mean, I don't even have to go through all of it. If anybody wants to see the rest, it's like it is cool. But maybe I'll just do it like slowly. But let's see what this thing is real quick. So this is it's only 12 minutes. It says. So it's it looks like a reputable channel. Almost 2 million subscribers, and it says it was 2 months ago. So let's see. You guys can see it, right? Okay, cool. Oh, I gotta hit the comment off real quick.
is a reservation at the Arizona-Utah border, is an iconic symbol of the American West. This breathtaking landscape is filled with towering sandstone buttes and mesas that rise dramatically from the earth, reaching heights of up to 1,000 feet. All of these beautiful features are the result of nature and many years of erosion that sculpted the sandstone into the distinct shapes that define the landscape today. However, there's one place that can be found north of Monument Valley that seems way too precise to be the work of nature and erosion. A place with perfectly rectangular and cubic blocks, all possessing exact 90-degree angles and all cut in precise straight lines. Their dimensions are as accurately executed as the cuts made by a laser cutter on sheet metal, leaving the surface of the blocks perfectly smooth.
That tip would have fit perfectly right here.
The place recently got some attention from the POV channel on YouTube, who was fascinated by the site's precise geometry, comparing the configuration of the blocks to giant Legos. Curiously, he also noted that in some places it appeared as if there were missing blocks. But how is this possible? The cliff and the blocks themselves are made from sandstone, a sedimentary rock composed mainly of sand-sized mineral particles and rock fragments. But sandstone doesn't naturally cleave like that. Some of the blocks are perfect cubes, and upon measuring them, the POV channel noted that all sides measure almost exactly 21 feet. This means that the cubic blocks alone are around 670 tons. The massive rectangular ones could be around 900 tons. A massive portion of the site looks already pre-cut, where all of the blocks look like they were already segmented into precise pieces and left there ready for their extraction. Could this really have been an enormous quarry of an advanced ancient civilization? Curiously, there are ancient drawings on the site, probably left by the Navajo people. The drawing depicts humanoid beings, together with the spiral symbol.
You can see there's several humanoid drawings. One right here, one right here, and right there.
In Navajo belief, the spiral symbolizes the concept of time, and they believe that time is not viewed as linear, but cyclical. The site, along with many others in the area, including the entirety of Monument Valley, is considered sacred by the Navajo. They believe it was created by the holy people, as they call them. Navajo belief suggests that the rock formations and buttes of Monument Valley are the remains of ancient beings who once roamed the earth. These beings were destroyed due to their actions and by the will of the gods, with all that was left of them being the large rock formations and buttes, serving as guardians of the land and reminders of the past. But here's what's interesting. In Navajo mythology, the world has undergone several cycles or ages, each ending with a catastrophic event leading to the destruction of the previous civilization and the emergence of a new one. According to the legend, the first and second worlds were destroyed due to discord and conflict. In the third world, the inhabitants became corrupt and disrespectful. The gods, displeased with this behavior, decided to cleanse the earth with a great flood. There's no point in telling you the full story, as it's almost identical to the story of Noah's Ark. In fact, we have an entire documentary in which we discussed all great flood stories around the world and how they all narrate the exact same story, a story of an advanced civilization destroyed by a major cataclysm. Does that mean that the site in question could be an ancient quarry from a civilization that was wiped out by a great flood thousands of years ago? Curiously, there are many coral fossils visible on the surface, suggesting the entire site was once underwater. Looking at the precise angles and smooth surfaces of the gigantic blocks, you may notice similarities with other massive blocks around the world, like the ones in Baalbek. The Baalbek stones, part of an ancient complex in Lebanon, are among the most intriguing architectural relics of the ancient world. The trilithon are three massive stones that form part of the podium of the Temple of Jupiter. Each stone weighs an estimated 800 tons. The true age of this gigantic megalithic platform remains a mystery to archaeologists, although many believe they are at least 9,000 years old. The ancient Phoenicians, Greeks, and Romans built their structures and temples upon the massive foundation, yet nothing of their construction matches the sheer scale and engineering prowess demonstrated by the Baalbek stones. These colossal blocks were precisely cut and placed with remarkable accuracy and fitted together perfectly. The methods used in the transportation and assembly of these stones continue to baffle historians and engineers alike. Adjacent to these, there lies an even larger stone block, known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, lying in a nearby quarry. This stone is estimated to weigh around 1,000 tons. Many believe that such feats could only have been achieved by an advanced ancient civilization possessing technology or knowledge lost to time. Consider the fact that even today, with our modern machines and technology, it's impossible for us to lift these massive blocks at Baalbek, let alone stack them on top of each other. But although we know the Baalbek stones are man-made, we can't confirm the same thing about the Navajo stone blocks. There's still the possibility that they're a natural formation. While nature does not cut sandstone into blocks with the precision of human-made tools, natural processes can lead to the formation of block-like structures. Initially, sand accumulates in layers through sedimentation, often in basins or low-lying areas where it is compacted as more sediment is deposited on top. Over millions of years, this compacted sand becomes cemented into solid rock through lithification, where minerals like quartz or calcite fill the spaces between the sand grains, binding them together. As tectonic forces act on the Earth's crust, these sandstone layers can be uplifted, exposing them to surface conditions. When exposed, sandstone undergoes weathering and erosion, influenced by factors like wind, water, temperature changes, and biological activity. These erosional processes can carve the sandstone into distinct shapes, including block-like structures, especially along natural lines of weakness such as joints and bedding planes. If we explore the natural wonders of our planet, we can find many geological masterpieces that mimic the precision of human craftsmanship and showcasing perfect geometry. Among these is the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. This extraordinary landscape is composed of around 40,000 interlocking basalt columns, mostly hexagonal, that descend like steps into the North Sea. Formed around 50 to 60 million years ago due to intense volcanic activity, the rapid cooling of lava upon contact with the sea resulted in the contraction and fracturing of the surface into these astonishing columnar shapes. The uniformity and neatness of these columns resemble a man-made sculpture. Across the Atlantic in California, the Devil's Postpile National Monument showcases a similar phenomenon. Here, the high columns of basalt rise majestically, forming a symmetrical organ-like structure. This natural phenomenon occurred when a lava flow cooled and shrank, cracking into multi-sided columns. The near-perfect uniformity of these columns, some reaching heights of over 60 feet, is a stunning example of nature's geometric precision. Iceland's Svartafoss, or Black Falls, is another marvel of natural architecture. Surrounded by dark lava columns which sharply contrast with the white of the cascading water, Svartafoss has inspired human creations with its striking geometry. These basalt columns formed inside a lava flow that cooled slowly and cracked into hexagonal patterns. In Scotland, the island of Staffa is home to Fingal's Cave, famous for its naturally formed basalt columns. Much like the Giant's Causeway, Staffa's columns were formed by the cooling of volcanic lava, creating a cathedral-like structure. In the heart of Europe, the Czech Republic's Panská Skala, or Lord's Rock, is another intriguing geological formation, often referred to as the Organ Pipes. This formation consists of a cluster of basalt columns that rise from the ground in a harmonious vertical array, mirroring the pipes of a grand organ. All of these sites illustrate the diverse and fascinating ways in which natural forces shape our world. Yet, it's intriguing to note the absence of formations exactly like those in the Navajo Nation, where the precision of the natural stone blocks seems almost too exact to be a product of nature alone. This distinctiveness may stir a sense of curiosity and skepticism about the purely natural origins of such exact formations. Indeed, the exactitude of the natural stone blocks in the Navajo Nation, with their clean lines and orderly appearance, may seem to stretch the bounds of natural geological processes. This observation invites viewers to ponder the forces and conditions that contribute to the formation of such remarkably precise natural structures. Let us know what you think about the site. Do you believe it's a natural formation or a massive ancient quarry used by an advanced civilization? Tell us in the comments below. And if you want to explore another incredible site, you can watch our video on the Kaimanawa Wall, an ancient megalithic structure built by a prehistoric civilization in New Zealand. The link is in the top pinned comment.
Okay, that was kind of cool. That, I can't believe that's in Utah. I mean, I've lived in Utah my whole. I'm hearing something.
So, we legit found Egyptian shit in the Grand Canyon?
Sorry, I had noise. What was that?
We legit found Egyptian stuff in the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, that was the one I was saying, like the Joe Rogan one, but if he didn't leave, but yeah, there was like a History Channel version, but it was a lot of them were like 45 minutes. So I was looking for like a condensed version. He's so funny. I don't know what he's talking about. Let me read some of these comments. And then I'm gonna play like one more comedy thing, and then we can like call it. I want to do some more like natural disasters. Did you guys ever see? It's on Amazon Prime. It was a series called Mega Disasters, and it had like four. So it had tsunamis, which are like my favorite, and volcanoes, tornadoes, and earthquakes. It was like a four-part series, and then it had like actual footage from like the biggest tsunami wave. I forget. It was like the wave was, I want to say 10,000 kilometers high or something. It was like insane. But it's a cool story. I didn't want to spoil it, so I'll do that one. And that one I'm not sure if I can, because that might not be fair use. But okay, let's see. So this he's talking. Okay, that was the one he's talking about, Joe Rogan. Okay, let's see. So I'm gonna say what nobody else has the guts to say. I'm scared. It's almost 3 a.m. Blue Jay, Lionel, and Dennis in a room together in real life. Would this hypothetically turn into an orgy? Oh my gosh.
No.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to be on like drugs or something, probably. I think we would just never.
The claim that it's not gay if it's a three-way is false.
Yeah.
This is gay lobby propaganda.
False. Oh wait, where'd that one go? False. Not gay if it's a three. It's still gay, I think. Yeah, I think anytime there's like two dudes, yeah.
And if there's a honey in the middle, there's some leeway. That's also false. There's no leeway.
Yeah, all
you've done is just corrupted the woman in your gay sex.
Yeah, my ex-husband, we never did like anything like, with three, and we never like had anybody else on her. But one time we were at a dinner with friends, and somehow someone brought up the the subject, like having a threesome or something. And I just said, well, I guess if I was gonna have one, which I knew we never would do that, but I was like, I'd probably want like another guy. I mean, and then my ex-husband got like very mad. She's like, "Oh my gosh, that's gay and that's disgusting." I was like, "It's just like, speculative." And then even like our friend, the guy, he's like, "Well, it makes sense why she would like want a guy, right?" And he's like, "No." He was like, "I already dropped it." He's something very bothered by that. But okay, let's see. The honey in the middle there is some leeway. Yeah, he'd watch. I bet you would. Let's see. Oh, Lionel, cool. You're almost done. Nice. Oh, and then let me see. I'm gonna pull up that other. It's like a 1.5 minute comment, and then we can like shut it down by one thing. I'm just gonna turn off the camera, but I'm not gonna mute. I put it already in my history, so I'll be quick. This a convenient is the best. Let's see. I don't know why this like so much easier to watch stuff on my phone for some reason than on. All right, let me see. You guys ever use like a desktop with YouTube? It doesn't seem like it's a user friendly, like a iOS version. Okay, we got it here.
I use it on PC.
Yeah, I just have a I don't have a MacBook. I have Asus. If that's how you say it. No, I've had it for like 5 years. Kind of good. It's fine. It's touchscreen stuff. Okay, let's see. Okay, one thing. It's showing up right.
Damn, what happened to that guy?
This is a comedian. Can you watch? I'm playing.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he did it. I don't know what he did, but he did it. I don't know his name. I don't even know what the charges are, but he damn sure did it. He did it. Where in the world? He did it. He whatever he did, he did it. He was trespassing. He stole it. He broke it. He lied. He did whatever it is they saying that he did. Ain't no way. This the thing, man. Is certain people like. If I was a judge, there's certain people you just gonna see the mug shot and be like, yeah, they did it. I don't know if they're in their right mind. I don't know if prison is the answer. Maybe it might be a psychiatric ward or something, whatever the case may be. But the fact that we not gonna debate about whether you're guilty or innocent. We don't have to talk about that. That right there is understood. Your ass is guilty. And very ashy for one reason or another. Maybe you got caught stealing lotion. In that case, I'm gonna let you have the lotion. I'm gonna go ahead and just let you have that. But your ass did it. Whatever it is, you did it.
It kind of looks like the guy that.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something. I be feeling sorry for y'all out there. It's really bad out there. I mean, it really is bad out there.
Oh,
this young lady took to Twitter and tweeted.
Let me see. He's so funny, but it kind of that person in the mugshot kind of remind me of when that video that you played with the guy in the drugs. Remember that was doing all the zombie kind of stuff. Let's see. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't get copyrighted for some of these. But let's see. I love him too. He's the other one I've followed. So I came to YouTube for Long Beach Graffiti and.
Good evening, nice woman. How can I help you today?
Give me dick. My penis!
Oh my gosh, okay, wait. He's having a little too great. I haven't seen it, but I don't know if I want that on. But he's got some hilarious videos. Okay. Let's do men's health. Isn't it Men's Health Month right now? I don't know, you guys are probably like, let's get the hell out of here. Mm, yeah, anyway. So, okay. But yeah, you just check out Sheila King. He's great. I wanted to play one more that is in my history. Oh my gosh, am I not on the right page? Okay, hold on. Let me stop sharing for a second. I'm out of control. So and if you guys ever like come across videos and you just kind of like, is this what's going on? It's frozen, huh? There you go. Sorry, my screen was frozen. So there.
It's still sharing. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, it was like completely stuck. But so yeah, if you guys ever have any like well, you do you said you're not creating content right now, right? Because you're working on a project for like a larger in a couple months. So I'm saying if you
Yeah.
ever come across a subject that you guys can like, you can just send it to me and then we can talk about it on here. 'Cause I'm kind of just like I just like to keep up on like the latest things or like if someone has something interesting to show. And sometimes they can even be short. I don't care. I'm always kind of on YouTube anyway for the most part, probably more than I should be. So I figure might as well collaborate with people while I'm watching it. Let's see if I can find that one. This one, my playlist. Okay, I'm just gonna come back on and do it on my phone because these playlists are like I save too much stuff. Oh, have you guys watched the Unabomber like in his own words? Have you seen any of that? It's actually kind of like he's actually really funny.
Nope.
I know it is not funny, okay, but his humor. I'm like, okay, what? I'll have to like clip it for next time, but he's talking about because he's only trusted one journalist to come and interview him to tell the story correctly. So wait, instead of trying to twist it around or add their own. And so she's literally like recorded him and is talking and he kind of tells about everything, but he was very accurate as far as predicting technology and like losing our privacy and all the things that would become of it. So of course that was his fight, but he was of course sociopath, psychopath because he killed people. But he it wasn't like his intention was just to hurt people, he was trying to get a point across, but he was like in the beginning he says something, then he's like trying to get blown up, and then he just like starts cracking up. It's like so random. But my playlist is too long, so let me just come back here. So yeah. But anyway, what do you
That
guys?
sounds awesome, though.
It is. I know it's on YouTube, so maybe I was thinking maybe of kind of trying to set structure in terms of like genres, and maybe have one week that would be like a true crime of some sort, and then one that's kind of like science, like universe or natural disasters, that kind of stuff, and then maybe one that's just like kind of fun. I'm like at least maybe Christmas 2 or 3, but I don't know, it's fun. I don't mind like if it's small or big, like I don't care because I like being able to interact with people, and I mean it's a great to be able to have like real conversations. Sometimes it's better if it's small.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're wrapping up. You getting tired?
No, I'm not tired, but I am wrapping up.
Nice. You go home and eat and like relax. I'm gonna go eat something too. I'm hungry. So okay. Well, do you guys have anything else to add before I end it?
No, this was good, Blue Jay.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming. I mean, I otherwise I would just be like I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it. So you guys kind of.
When you plan on coming again?
Should I do Friday? I was thinking like Tuesdays and Fridays maybe get, and then always gonna add like randoms or I don't know. I don't really care.
You always do it when you're working.
When are you off again?
I'm off Thursday
Okay.
and Sunday.
I'll do Thursday then, and then maybe Sunday too. But okay,
Yeah.
let's do Thursday. Yeah, every couple days is good. Then I don't get too out of the habit. And then, what should we? Do you guys have any suggestions? Or you can like send me a message or something. But any interesting? Because I want to maybe do a little research. Like any
I have
topics.
some videos for you.
You
Like
do?
that Unabomber topic.
I know. Okay, I do too. And now that because I have a bunch saved in my playlist, so but the real one, and yeah, it's good. Should we maybe start that? And then Lionel, what's like the genre that you have? You're sending.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna just be random with it.
Okay. Well, we can do like Thursday and Sunday. I mean, I'm gonna take up both your days off, but I mean, I'm fine with doing the Unabomber and then the videos you send me a different day. I mean, like I said, I'm always on here anyway, and like I do kind of find myself sometimes just like clicking on random lives because I'm just kind of bored. But I don't really gain a lot. Not, I mean, I support them, of course, but sometimes it's just like almost interpersonal drama that you have to keep up on, or you can't. And it doesn't involve me, and I don't particularly care. But so it's kind of nice to have subject matter, like, and then you know, just whoever is around and wants to come. But so yeah, so let's say Thursday. Is this like a good time?
Yeah.
Is it good for you? Dennis, is it kind of late? I'm not saying you have to commit to coming, but like, I mean, just as a general rule, is this kind of like when you're chilling watching YouTube or?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I think your last show was a little bit earlier.
I can't remember. Was it? Yeah,
It
I
was
just
a
remember I
little
just
bit
like
earlier.
okay. So like, are you? What time zone are you?
Pacific.
Oh, okay, cool. So it's like midnight. Okay. So yeah, today I would have started at what time did it start? Like 10:30 because I'm mountain time, so I started like 10:30. So maybe if I start like Lionel actually suggested I start at like 9, but I was just late. So but yeah, maybe like between maybe around 9:30 my time, like or so. And again, I mean it's not like I'm gonna be like, hey, where were you if you don't come? I mean, but just kind of like to have an idea of what accommodates every.
Do you have a Discord?
Yeah, I do. In fact, EAE has sent me one. I was on like I don't really know how Discord works. I'm on CT's Discord still. Are you on his? And then I'm on Nina's brothers. I don't know if you can find. You have to go into somebody's Discord channel to find people, or can you just find people individually? I'm on Risky Discord too. Let me see what it's. I'll pull mine up and see. But I don't know if you have a way to contact EAE. He can send it to you. However, he sent it to me probably through CTs. I would think.
You have your own, just on CTs.
I have my own account, I guess, but I don't have a channel. So.
Okay. Well, I'm on CTs, so I can get you up there.
Okay, yeah. Like if you wanted to send me any videos or something like that, yeah, that works. Okay. Yeah. I'll listen on Thursday, and then I'll just plan like around like 8 Pacific or 8 between 8 and 9. So like between 9 and 10 my time, and then it's kind of late for you, Lena, but you're up late anyway. So because Lena's on the East Coast. So. Is that cool?
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you. I will probably see you guys in like streams before then anyway, but if not, then I'll just plan to be here like on Thursday.
All right. Have a good night.
Okay, you too. Good night, guys.